Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. PlayAlberta.ca. We got lots and lots to discuss on the show today. Oilers are up 2-1. The Edmonton Oilers have really dominated, I would say, 7 of the 9 periods thus far against the Dallas Stars. The Stars had 5 goals in the third period of game 1. They have scored 2 goals in the other 8 periods combined. So not good for Dallas. And really, it's not a surprise if you looked at what was happening prior to this series beginning. The Dallas Stars didn't score 5-on-5 that much. They got outscored against Colorado 5-on-5. They were even against Winnipeg with 8 goals in 6 games, 5-on-5. And lots of their guys, Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene, go down the list of guys who aren't producing for that team 5-on-5. Give the Oilers credit. Now, yesterday I thought Dallas in the second period, that was their best period 5-on-5 for sure. But they couldn't beat Stuart Skinner. They got 1 goal, and that was it. The Oilers got a late goal from Connor McDavid, go into the second intermission, still up by 2, just like they were at the end of the first period, and then they took over in the third. Zach Hyman, unreal game. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, phenomenal game. Stuart Skinner, excellent. And I would think, you know what? Stuart Skinner will have a game where he might allow a few goals and people will freak out again, or they might learn and be calm and be like, hey, you know what? Might have the odd game here or there, but he has way more good games in the playoffs than bad games. Right? Just to remind you, 5 games he allowed 25 goals. The other 25, he's allowed 52. That's a pretty big difference. So the Oilers will look to take a stranglehold on this series tomorrow against the Dallas Stars. Connor Brown, he got rocked by Alex Petrovic. I thought it was a clean hit. It was a hard hit, but it was a clean hit. And he's not going to play tomorrow. I don't think we'll see him in the rest of this series, to be honest. I think you'll see him out for, probably a week. Now, Matthias Ekholm is getting closer. I don't expect him to play tomorrow. I think it's going to be Victor Arvidsson. They're going to go 12-6. But Ekholm is getting close. I said at the beginning of the series, I thought game 5 might have been the jump point. But if you're up 3-1, do you play him in game 5? Because you win that game, then he gets another week off, most likely. If the Oilers this is a big if they finish the series on Thursday and Florida finishes their series tonight or Wednesday, it sounds like the Stanley Cup final could start next Wednesday, June 4th. So in case you're planning, those are some of the options. Today on the show, I'll have Kevin Woodley in the 4:00 hour talking goaltending. Mark Spector will be by. The OC of the Edmonton Elks, Jordan Maksimic, will join us. Of course, the Elks didn't play a lot of their starters on offense, but still the OC, we'll see what he thought of their preseason loss in Calgary. We got Gene Principe, Sam Cosentino. We'll talk a little Memorial Cup. Great start. Another big game tonight for the Medicine Hat Tigers. We got Tater in the 2-minute warning. Dan Rosen from NHL.com and Sean Brown, former NHLer, joins us in studio right now. You can always text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. Yeah. Nice.
You can lift your arm up, rookie. There, yeah. Bring it up there.
Okay.
There you go.
This is a change. I'm not so close.
New studio, geez. Yeah, we'll zoom that
together.
back a bit, eh? We'll zoom that back a bit or something, because, we'll get Declan to, you can lean back, and bring your arm out if you want.
Okay, well, it's going to take me a second to get comfortable. I'm not so used to being so close to you.
Yeah, no, that's better. How about that? Then, we don't need to see like your nose hair. It's on camera. It's a little too close.
Thanks, Declan.
So that's better. Looking at the Oilers, really, game 1, I thought they gave it away after dominating, and game 2, really solid performance. Stuart Skinner gets another shutout, and then yesterday, their goalie, when they needed him in the second period, was great. But Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, it's funny. Connor McDavid has 2 goals, and I don't even think he's the third star. I don't even think he's top 3 stars in the game.
Really? I mean,
what, you think he was better than Hyman?
No, but I mean, McDavid just, he's such a threat anytime he's on the ice.
No, but my point is he had 2 goals.
Yeah.
Did Nugent Hopkins have a better game than McDavid? I think he did.
I'd say
Hyman and Skinner.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing for the Oilers that Connor McDavid can score 2 goals and not be your 3-star.
And maybe it's just because we're so used to Connor McDavid being so much better than everyone else on the ice. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously why, the Oilers are so hard to handle, and why they're having so much success right now is the depth that we've all talked about throughout the regular season has really stepped up, and they're very hard to play against, because right now it just kind of seems like no matter which line or what Oilers out there, whether it's a forward pairing or a D pairing, they're a lot right now. And for me, watching that game and watching Dallas, I thought that was one of Dallas's better games for sure, especially the way they started, right? I mean, it seemed like it was a lot more even. I thought, in the first couple games, the Oilers had a lot more jump. We're getting to pucks first, but I mean, how frustrating is that for Dallas right now, right? When they put their best foot forward and they still come up a little bit short. So, all the momentum right now is with the Oilers, and we'll see if they can kind of take advantage of that. It'll be interesting to see. Does Ekholm get in, or do they?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? No. Really? I wouldn't mind seeing him in. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of that. I think it's a matter of, I don't think he's 100% ready yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm just listening to
Yeah, you're coming off of groin injuries.
Yeah.
And do I think the player wants to play? Yes. Do I think the team is being ultra cautious here? Yeah. Yes. We saw what happened. He came back and he re-aggravated his groin. And they thought he was healthy. And so you've got Ekholm coming back. And when you've got when you have time, use it. So to me,
sure.
Now is Ekholm going to be an upgrade? Of course, he'd be an upgrade if he's healthy and can stay healthy. So if I can win the series in 5, and I'm the Oilers, and now that means, so today is Monday, and we don't have to start the Stanley Cup final until next Wednesday. That's another 9 days. Yeah. So I would look at, I'm thinking bigger picture, right? Because has Dallas overwhelmed the Oilers' defense at any point in this series?
No.
So that's why I don't think you have to rush him.
I was just going off of his.
But like today. The players say that, hey, you know what? Yeah, I want to play. Yeah. Of course, he wants to play.
Yeah, but I don't think he would really. I know he would not put himself in that position if he's going to hurt his team,
dude.
You think he would? There's absolutely
not hurt his. But every player. Do you know how many trainers I've talked to, medical staff? Every player thinks he's healthy. Brownie, you played? No, coach, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And guys will lie even though they know they're not good because they want to play.
Yeah, they will lie, and they're paid to play and they want to play. But I do not think they'll lie to the point where it's going to hurt their team.
True, but if he could risk injury, then I think he is hurting his team.
Well, there's always going to be. He's never going to be able to. I mean, I guess you want him to come back as close to 100% as possible, but still. You know what? I guess I would like, the playoffs are tough, and it's tough for anyone with any type of experience, and no matter how good you are, to just come in and think that you're just going to make it. It's not a guaranteed impact, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully, I know you're thinking long term, and hopefully they get past this round and into Florida, and they're going to need a big body and a shutdown defenseman. And if he can kind of come in as a 7th defenseman and kind of get his feet underneath him, and now all of a sudden you got at home where you get last change, and you got McDavid and Draisaitl last change, and they're going to play more. I mean, while you got them down, you might as well keep them down. And anytime you can have the 2 best players on the ice at home, is looking good to me.
Oh God. Yeah. No, I would take it. The people I've talked to around the organization, I think they're erring on the side of caution.
Yeah. And their game has allowed them to err on the side of caution.
Yeah. And I think you sometimes you have to protect the player from himself, and that's not meant in a negative way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a veteran defenseman.
Doesn't matter.
That understands the importance, and every player will try to play because that's what they want to do. I just cannot see. I just don't see any player going into the lineup if they really feel like they're going to hurt their team's chances.
Yeah.
If Ekholm's coming to me and saying he's ready to go, I'm probably going to put him in the lineup.
Yeah. So looking at a few other things, I should mention big news today. I think righting a wrong in the community. Dwayne Mandrusiak is back with the Edmonton Elks in a community role as well as a historian. Of course, he was with the team for 49 years. Larry and Deb Thompson, as well as President and CEO Chris Morris, I think would played a huge factor in bringing Dwayne back. I think, that's there are a lot of people who are longtime supporters of the Elks that felt like this was a real slap in the face by people that, Chris Morris wasn't there, Larry and Deb Thompson weren't there, they didn't do this, so they're righting a wrong from previous it's a community-owned team, so the board who allowed it to happen, and then the presidents who were at the helm when it did happen. It was incredibly short-sighted, and so to do this, I think is great. It's it's a small thing. There's little small steps all matter and add up to big steps, and so I think this is a good move by the Green and Gold. Also, their once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo sign is going to go back inside the dressing room, which was there for decades, and the iconic fire truck will be back on game days. It's updated, so it's got. So what does that mean? It's going to maintain some of the historical elements. So I know that they had to go to a smaller one because the big one was too big for the track. So I wonder though if they've also made a little change to the end zone potentially and how the configuration is, not of the end zone itself, but just the turf that it had, so you couldn't drive on it. So we'll see when they unveil that, probably for the home opener. So small little details that I think are good for the organization.
And you know what? I've had the opportunity to meet Mandrusiak a few times, and I know lots of people that have been associated with him, and I've never heard anything or anyone speak poorly of the man. So, I mean, I don't know if it happens enough in sports, the fact that mistakes do happen, and it's good to see an organization that recognizes a mistake and is bringing a guy back, because the culture and having those guys around, having been, with the Oilers and with professional teams, like, it speaks volumes. And, when you have the Johnny Busiks and you got Barry Stafford and all these guys that know the history of the organization, and just the way they talk about it, the passion, and just the way they care about the community, it's I'm glad. I can honestly say I'm not the biggest football fan, right? But what the Eskimos have done for someone like myself that's kind of a fringe fan, it's kind of brought me into it a little bit, right? Because I've enjoyed listening to the coach. I've enjoyed listening to the GM, the enthusiasm that they talk with. So yeah, and it's for me, it's an exciting year to kind of see what the Elks will do this year, because this is a big year to try and turn this organization around, and I think they're doing and making all the right steps.
213-833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, any truth if Larry's going to drive it through the Stamps bench again? From Justin. Oh my God, that was such a hilarious moment. That was the little mini fire truck. I don't know if you've seen it, but they actually have t-shirts at the Elk store. I was in there the other day, went to training camp, and I was just walking through that way, and they have kind of a fun of that picture on a shirt, because it was quite comical.
It's funny. Years ago when I was, with the Oilers, they obviously had the relationship with the Eskies, and we got to watch a game right on field level. And like any sport, the closer you are to it, the better and more appreciation you have. But I couldn't, they talk about the physicality, and you watch it on TV and it looks physical, but when you're actually on the sidelines and listening to the grunts and the groans and watching how much they're actually leaning in the guys, man, it was like, from and I'm a physical guy and I enjoy it, but I was like, wow, they're hitting hard,
dude.
Like,
yeah, no, it is no joke.
Very dangerous.
Football is a physical sport, and I think. I remember the first time I stood on the sidelines back when I first started, 20-some years ago. You could watch the whole game in the sidelines as a reporter if you wanted.
Oh, really?
And so I didn't do it right away, but I'd go down for, a quarter sometimes and see it. And I remember the first time standing on the sideline, and it's a different feel of just how ferocious the game is. And how violent it truly is. And when they're colliding, like you get you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah.
It's like my first time I ever went and watched rugby live. And I saw the sideline, and it was just, they're come flying by, and you hear those. They're just like,
because that's like flesh.
Yeah, it's flesh. But bone. And they are taught, because you can't leave it to your head, right? In rugby. You're the technique.
Yeah.
I'd love him to teach that technique to all football players, but it's natural when you get a helmet on.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're a little bit more invincible, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a little bit more padding on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And you just look at the technique in rugby.
Yeah.
And you get I know I talked to a lot of people who are rugby players and football players. Put your kid in rugby first, and then they're naturally a better tackler in football, just automatically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Less chance of injuries too.
Yeah.
So, hey, boys, what about Frederick and Nugent Hopkins? Are they going to play? Yeah, they're both fine. Frederick, got hit into the goalpost, but he's totally fine. He was on the ice. Nugent Hopkins, as he said yesterday, he was fine. He goes, you know what? I got the wind knocked out of me, lost my breath briefly, and that was it. So, that'll happen, but it obviously didn't impact him. He played very well.
Isn't that the worst feeling when you get your breath knocked out?
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're never going to get it
Yeah,
again.
It's not a great feeling at time. And most people have had happen, a few times. And the first time, like, it scares you when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Get a soccer ball or something right to the gut. And you're just like,
the first time I had it happen was actually in my hometown, and I got crushed, and I was laying on the ground, and it just felt like I was breathing through a straw, and I'm moving around, and by the time the trainer came out, he's just like, relax, and you catch your breath, and you're just like, man, I just made a complete mockery of myself, looking like I was dead. It was the worst feeling, but to go through it once, and then when it happens again, just to have the experience to kind of calm yourself down in that moment. But yeah, that's a bad feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hey guys, nice to see Mandzukic back, but the damage is already done. They seem to be trying to reconnect with the past, but it might be too late. Thanks, Doug. Well, I guess it's too late for people who want to hold a grudge, right? So if you say, oh, you made a mistake, well, now I could never forgive you. Well, then that's on you, right? That's not on anybody else. Yeah. And it's a small thing. Winning's going to help. I think the under Chris Morris, ever since he took over, has been incredibly transparent and incredibly honest about everything he sees with the organization, good or bad. There's lots of mistakes. They're not going to make one move and suddenly everyone's going to be like, oh, Dwayne's back, so everything. Of course not. There's lots of things. Now, some people they'll still be butthurt because they don't ever go back to the Eskimos. Well, you know what? It's not going to change, right? It's just not going to change. So move on.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you can say it was an error. That's fine. Did the Oilers make a lot of errors and you still cheer for the team? Like, my God, if you were going to give up on the team because of all the dumb mistakes they made, then there'd be no fans in the building. Because for a decade and a half, the Oilers were leading the charge in horrific decisions. Okay, horrific ones. So I think some people just, you know what, they get mad now. It's like, you know what, my friend, they voted left and I voted right, so we can't be friends anymore. It's like, give me a break. Grow up is what I'll say. If you can't get over the name thing, that's you issue. No one else at this point. You can say, I didn't like it, and then move on. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Quick break. We'll return. Dan Rosen will join us. The Dallas Stars, Pete DeBoer. He's not surprised by how well Stuart Skinner's playing, but he also feels his team is coming on. We'll find out if it's true next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Don't miss the midweek showdown on Wednesday, May 28th at 7 p.m. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. thestingers.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantorque.com.
Time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker, and join us for the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Cross Mitsubishi on 34th Ave and 96th Street.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Mr. Ruther hits the gym.
As a new Mr. Ruther plumber, you get access to our company gym.
Nice. Where's the equipment?
Over here, we have a variety of tight pickle jars. Open those up to work out your pipe wrenching muscles. We've got your standard weighted plungers and over here, a pipe wrench.
Why is that guy forcing his body into a suitcase?
He's getting limber. A good plumber must be able to fit under any sink.
For a plumber who always works out, call Mr. Ruther.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book a free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
It's that time again, Edmonton.
Dig the Schwab in.
Schwab Chev Buick GMC knows that it's playoff season.
Right, Schwabbing now.
But even with some late nights ahead, their boss still has the Schwab team fighting Schwabbing hard to get you into the perfect ride.
That price isn't Schwabbing good enough.
Come score a great deal on your next vehicle with up to $12,000 off 2025 diesel trucks at Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc. Dig the Schwab in.
Kickstands up for a vital cause. The Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad. Hi, it's Todd James, honorary ride captain. Now's the time to register for our big ride on Saturday, June 14th, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. We're raising funds and awareness in support of the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. Show your support by riding, donating, or volunteering. Advance registration just $40, 50 day up, and free with $100 in collected pledges. Details on the Ride for Dad Edmonton Facebook page.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
A Monday afternoon on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Thanks as always for listening, maybe watching at Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, there is lots going on today in the world of sports. The Edmonton Oilers practice, as did the Star. Oilers had a pretty full practice. Evan Bouchard, Jake Wallman took it off. They're fine. Stuart Skinner also had the day off. It was a pretty taxing day for Skinner, especially in the second period. So smart to get him. The Oilers still had 3 goalies because they got Delia here. They got Rodrigue. Calvin Pickard was on the ice. Calvin Pickard, I expect him to be in the backup position tomorrow. So that's good news for the Oilers. Just on the off chance, injury or something, I think you'd much rather have Calvin Pickard as the guy coming off the bench rather than Rodrigue, who doesn't have any NHL playoff experience and really has very limited playing experience in the NHL. So I think that's a good sign for the Edmonton Oilers. Connor Brown wasn't on the ice, not going to play tomorrow. I think Connor Brown's going to miss a few games. Concussion protocol tells you it's 7 days. So no one's going to use the CC word, but you look at the hit. And I know people say, well, Gregor, if he's concussed, how's it not a headshot? Well, if your initial point of contact is the chest and then you make contact with the head after, it's not a headshot, number one. And number two, sometimes you can get a concussion from whiplash in the force. It isn't a real direct blow to your head. There's lots of different elements that go on into it. Concussions, as we've learned from concussion experts, don't always have to be a massive blow to your head sometimes. So, and it doesn't mean, right, you might just have a bruised sternum, for goodness sakes. I don't know. That was a hard hit, man. So Brown, though, it was also dealing with the foot injury from blocking the shot. So a little time off probably isn't going to hurt him. And Matthias Ekholm was getting closer. Whether he plays tomorrow remains to be seen. I'm going to lean towards no. That I think they'll stick with the 12-6 for the time being. Now let's go around the NHL because it's NHL time, man. There is lots going on. So much to talk about right now. It's awesome. I love it. How can you not? To be honest, how can you not get excited as we go around the NHL? Brought to you by McDonald's as the coming up next month. You get the summer days. So just a little preview for you. $2 Sundays, Snake Shack, snack size shakes and more. But until then, if you want to stay warm, $1 coffees, only at McDonald's. As Dan Rosen from NHL.com joins us. And Dan, let's start with the Eastern Conference, Florida and Carolina. Florida has a chance for the sweep, which would be the fourth consecutive sweep for the Carolina franchise, dating back to 2009, which is wild. But Florida, no Sam Reinhart tonight. Mikkola is going to sit out. AJ Greer is going to sit out. So they're quasi resting some guys up 3-0. Obviously, they're a little bit banged up, and they're saying, hey, let's take advantage of being up 3-0.
Well, I think that's probably the case. I mean, Paul Maurice basically said the guys that they're putting in will give them a team a better chance than the guys that are coming out, and that means they're banged up, right? And I think you would basically say if this was a 2-1 series in Carolina's favor right now, I'm pretty sure that those guys, if they are at all capable of playing, would be playing. And they're up 3-0. So take advantage of that. You run the risk, let's not forget there is a risk, right? I mean, the Panthers know it. They just went through it last year, went up 3-0. And then 11 days later, they're playing a game 7 against the Oilers, right? So you run that risk, but you just also have to take the risk because if they're banged up in any way and you can get them extra time, especially with what could be a really long layoff before the Stanley Cup final, you got to utilize that if you can. So up 3-0 in your own building, dominating the series, you take the risk.
Dan, you talk about risk. Is there a risk of Rob Brind'Amour calling out some of his star players? Do you agree with that approach?
I think, he did it. That's Rod's approach. That's always been his approach. And he's right. I mean, nobody can look at it and say, well, I mean, I can't believe he did that. What's he doing? He's honest. Rod is honest with his guys. He's always been, and he's being honest now. He didn't necessarily, there's a couple, I asked him a question, for example, about Orlov, and he put him in that category. He didn't necessarily, I don't believe, name names, but we all know the names. Aho needs to be better. Jarvis needs to be better. Svechnikov needs to be way better than he's been. Orlov clearly was a result of 3 or 4 goals against directly on him. In that series in game 3, poor Alexander Nikishin, he's playing his second game and playing really, really well. He ends up with a -4 in that game because he's playing with Orlov, right? These guys have to be better. There's no question. And I think coming out and saying it, it's not surprising. He's not like shocking anybody. I'm sure he said it in the room too. So I don't think there's a risk there. I think with the Hurricanes right now, it's all on the table, man. They have not been good in this series, and you try anything at this point just to get a little bit of a spark.
Yeah, you have to, and there's no reason not to. Dan Rosen joins, but I know it's not officially over, but the series is over. Dan, they're not winning 4 straight against this Florida team. Like it's not. They're not as good as the Oilers were last year, and the Oilers couldn't win 4 in a row. No. They got 3, but they couldn't get 4. You switch to the West, and Edmonton is halfway in this series anyway, getting back to the Stanley Cup final, which would be only the 3rd time in 45 seasons that we have a rematch, which would be crazy. But you look at Edmonton, and really, outside of that third period against in game 1, when they got outscored 5-0, they've outscored them 12-2 in the other 8 periods. And the second period yesterday was Dallas's best period 5-on-5 for sure. However, that's really their only good period 5-on-5 in the whole series, Dan. And if you go back to Colorado and Winnipeg, 5-on-5 production has been Dallas's downfall or weakness all playoffs.
It really has been, and it made worse when the goalie is playing the way he did in the second period. I mean, that was a lights-out performance by Stuart Skinner in the second period of that game. What do you have, 20 saves in the period?
Yeah.
And, Dallas, you got to remember, okay, they're struggling 5-on-5, and, you're down 2-0, right? And now you play your best period, and you're down 3-1. So you gain nothing out of it, okay? But they exerted so much in that period. They put so much out there in that period, and they got nothing to show for it. And then, it was pretty clear in the third period that they had nothing to show for it, right? I mean, even when it becomes, a 4-1 game when Hyman scores, Dallas pushback wasn't there. I mean, they only had 4 shots on goal in the third period, and Edmonton was just doing kind of whatever it wanted to. And that's what we've seen a lot of in this series. We've seen a lot of it for the Oilers in the last 2 rounds, actually. They look like a team that's just that is just getting better and better and better. And, without Hintz and, not being able to solve Skinner in that second period, it doesn't bode well for the Dallas Stars. Now, they could come out and they can win game 4, no question about it, because they're a good team. But if you're struggling to score 5-on-5 already, and then you get goalied in a period like that, that's a big problem. And it goes to your heads at times, too, I think.
Dan, with Mikko Rantanen, he's hot in the previous series and now seems to be a little bit cold. Is there anything in his game that you've noticed that's changed? Or is it just the fact that Edmonton's defending better?
Yeah, I think Edmonton's just defending really well. And I think that, you guys probably know this better than I do, but all season long, they don't get credit for that, right? There's almost no credit given for the way they defend and the depth that they have. And it's showing up big time in these playoffs, especially in the last 2 rounds. They're defending really well. And Rantanen has, it's now 5 or 6 games in a row now. Rantanen has not scored, if I'm correct, right? 6 games in a row he hasn't scored. And you wonder, is it just streakiness, right? I mean, because he was red hot for that little bit, that time against Colorado into the Winnipeg series, just red hot. And then you're that hot, eventually you're going to cool off, right? And he's just cooling off at the wrong time. Now, again, like I said, he could come out in game 4 and be red hot again because he's that good of a player. But I just see Edmonton doing such a good job of A, defending whoever is on the ice for Dallas, but B, getting the puck and going with it. That's the best defense, right? Offense. And they're just getting it and going with it. And unlike what I'm watching in this series with Carolina, they're not, you correct me if I'm wrong, but they're not giving it away either. They're not giving a lot of opportunities to Dallas. Maybe some there in the second period, and you need your goalie to step up. But they're doing a really good job of defending and a really good job of attacking off of the defending.
Dan Rosen joins us from NHL.com. And I agree with you. I think Edmonton's, their overall game has been very impressive. It was there against Vegas. Really, it's been there since game 3 against LA. They're 12-2. They're 10-2 in their last 12 games. And 10-2 against playoff teams. So it's not like you're 10-2, beating up on Chicago and Anaheim. You're 10-2 against 100-point teams in the NHL. And what's fascinating to me, Dan, is that Connor McDavid in the playoffs has his exact 1.58 points per game pace. right, which is third highest in NHL history. Leon Draisaitl is fourth highest, came in at 1.46. He's actually increased his to 1.47, and they're rarely like the main story for the Edmonton Oilers because either they're getting a shutout or, Zach Hyman has +5, 10 hits, 5 shots, 3 points.
Yeah.
The Oilers are playing so well as a team right now that in a weird way, the third and fourth most productive players in NHL history in the playoffs are kind of getting overlooked by, they're like, oh yeah, they're playing well, but it's not the whole story.
Well, you're right. And that's what it has to be. We've talked about it for how long? That if Leon and Connor are the whole story for Edmonton, it's not going to be them standing with the Stanley Cup at the end of the season, right? And now you're seeing them. You just went over it, right? The production you're getting from up and down the lineup. Vander Kane's return, he's been good. There's, Kulak, jumping in, and it's still McDavid, right? I mean, look, every time he's on the ice, something's happening. Right? It's dangerous almost every single time he's on the ice, and he scores 2 yesterday, but it's everything. It's everybody, and it's getting goaltending as well. And we've talked about it for the longest time. Like, it can't be a team of 2 players. 2 players don't win you the Stanley Cup. You need the full team. And they were really, really, really close to it last year, and they're getting it again right now, and maybe even better in that situation right now because of that depth. And one of the, I'll be honest with you too, like, this goes back around, but I was convinced going into the series against Vegas that if a team was going to come out of that series beat up, that it was going to be the Edmonton Oilers, just because of who the Vegas Golden Knights are, their size, how they play. And it was the opposite, which tells me that this Edmonton team is just a little bit of a different team than they've been in playoffs past, even different from last year.
Yeah, last year was a really good team. They went all the way to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and we could have a repeat, which doesn't happen very often, a rematch of the Cup Final. Florida, I'm punching their ticket. I think they're in, and I think Edmonton's got a really good chance to get there. If Sam Reinhart can't play in the Cup Final, how much of an impact do you think that is for Florida?
It's a huge impact. Look, they get by in Game 3 against Carolina without him. They may be able to get by in Game 4 without him. But this is a player, and Paul Maurice said this, he touches all aspects of their game. He's one of their best penalty killers. He's on their first power play, one of their most dangerous forwards on their first power play. He's their leading goal scorer at 5-on-5, right? So take that guy out of your lineup, you're missing 22 minutes of impact all over the ice. And you cannot replace that. You can for a short period of time. Like, Jesper Boquist comes into the lineup and he scores a goal and everything looks great. Well, I mean, Carolina Hurricane, as Jordan Stahl said, it's turnover city for the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 3. So it's not exactly telling, right? Sam Reinhart's going to have to be able to play. And I would be stunned if they get through this, which we both agree that they'll get through it. We all agree they'll get through it. I would be stunned if he's not ready to go for the start of the Stanley Cup Final, because listen, I mean, you could be talking about a long break here, and he's moving around. He hasn't skated yet, but he's moving around a little bit. So it's not like he's invisible around this team right now. He was reading the lineup card before Game 3, walking around. So I would be shocked if he wouldn't be in the lineup for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. But you never know. We'll see. You never get the truth at this time of the year. They'll be able to get by Carolina, I think, without Reinhart. They will not be able to win the Stanley Cup without him.
Interesting. Dano, great stuff, man. We appreciate it as always. Thanks for your time.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Dan Rosen. Yeah, Sam Reinhart's a really good player. And hey, injuries matter. And I know that people look at Florida, and I know everyone says, oh, geez, look how Florida's dominating because they're up on Carolina 3-0. I'm like, I don't think Carolina's that good. Like, to be honest, I really don't. Like, do you think Carolina and Toronto are better than Vegas and Dallas? Would anybody have said that before the playoffs started?
I thought Toronto would be have a little bit more success than what they did.
No, but as a team, if you had to rank Toronto and Carolina, would you rank them ahead of Vegas and Dallas? In between where? When the playoffs started?
I don't. I'd maybe have Toronto a little bit ahead of Vegas.
And Dallas?
Maybe not Dallas.
Yeah. Okay, so if you had them, but either way, you'd have Vegas ahead of Carolina.
Yeah.
So the West teams, if we go 1 versus 1, the West teams are still higher.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Yet people talk like Florida is this unbelievable machine that no one can handle. And I'm like,
they are a machine.
They're good, but Edmonton's 10-2.
Hey, Edmonton's playing well.
Edmonton's
I'm looking
spanked
for
Vegas.
Edmonton's a different team. And the one reason why I think, and I like them a lot more this year going into, if they were able to play, if they're going to play Florida in the Stanley Cup finals, is because of Kane and Frederick, and the fact that Hyman, Podkolzin, the physical, the physical part of their game, I think is way better than it ever was in previous years. Right? Because when you play against, I love Florida. I love the way they're put together. They have skill, and they can beat you up, and they're mean, right? Like Sam Bennett, he proved it last year. He doesn't care if he played minor hockey with you, if he's an old teammate or he's a buddy of yours. That guy's playing for keeps. He's going to try and hurt you, right? And they got Kachuk there, and now they got Marchand. I love the makeup of their team, and I think this year, if the Oilers are lucky enough to get by Dallas here, that is going to be a physical series. And I think for Florida to close out the series tonight is important, because Sam Reinhart, like Dan just said, he touches so many parts of the game that, they're going to benefit from having a little bit of rest. And I think that's, just as important for the Oilers too. If they can win this series, the quicker they can win it and have a healthier team going into the next round is going to be very important.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. I think there's a lot of people still that, and I understand why, are hesitant to give Edmonton credit, because they've always been a team that struggles. And so that they have one game where they allowed 6 goals, like, see, the Oilers are terrible.
Yeah.
And you're like, other teams, did Dallas just give up 6 goals? Did they? No one's talking about how bad they are defensively. It's not the first time they gave up 6 goals either. So I get it, right? Everybody naturally, you don't want to change your opinion. It's hard because they're like, well, I don't think they're good enough defensively. And the minute they make a mistake, they're not good. It's like Bouchard, right? Like, look at Evan Bouchard since the first 2 games of the playoffs. Like, look how good he's playing.
He's playing
unreal. Not just good. Can you remember the last time Bouchard made a mistake?
Yeah, It was just when he was making the mistake, it was, and I'm a Bouchard fan. It was just the way he was making the mistake.
But here's my point.
So manner.
People still think about that.
Yeah.
And they don't think about what has been in front of their face now for the last month.
Yeah.
That's what matters. What happened in November is completely irrelevant.
Yeah. The one thing I do like, I think the word that Knobloch uses and different guys, players I've heard say, is they're building. Like, the Oilers seem to me like they've been building, since they got into the playoffs, right? They've been building their game. Obviously, they got a little bit nicked up in the way they got into the playoffs. It was hard because they weren't, healthy as a team. But that's one thing and one word that I see this Oilers team doing is, from the beginning into where they are now, it's just they're gaining momentum. Guys are, individually playing well and finding, whether it's Zach Hyman or Podkolzin. Perry's done it all year. Brown's chipped in, but they're all finding ways to contribute, whether it's with points, physicality, a block shot. And so that word building is something that I've kind of noticed that the Oilers have done from the beginning of the season. And they just, who doesn't love the way they are and how they're playing right now?
2:44, quick break. We'll come back. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate and much more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Get moving with Volvo and save big for summer during the May sales event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. It's the final month to lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save up to $2,000. Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at Cattail Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17, it combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
What? Really? Our partner in power just skated off the ice. EL.co, e-commerce freight for electrical wholesale in Edmonton. It's ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be. 5 years now. That's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You can order food on Nimble at a You can order food at a Sit on your couch all day and order
I won't shave till we bring home the cup. And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal. My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs. Yeah.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Wilhock game day with Wilhock beef jerky. Only available in Lagoon. Give yours away because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around, serving all of Alberta. DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. For tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Karen's Work. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud benches, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at karen'swork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca. Online gambling website.
.248. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hey, guys, I thought Bouchard was going to get 8 times 10.5 after the LA series. Now it feels like it could be north of that. What do you make of what he'll get on his next deal? It's a good question. He's going to get 10. More, maybe. But it's going to be a big deal. I have no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. And I'm just telling people because I know when he signs his contract, some people are going to get upset, and that's fine. They'll always get upset. Just you need to prepare yourself mentally. You might start now. He's getting a contract that is going to be rather large, 8 figures. Just a matter of is it 1-0 or 1-1? I don't know, but it's going to be one of those two. No question in my mind. He's played great. There's the Ekholm helps him. That argument's out the window, right? Bouchard, you can't rely on him. Well, that's out the window. He's playing tons of minutes. Oh, he doesn't penalty kill. Well, now he's penalty killing. He's on the power plays, 5-on-5. And to me, the most important thing about Bouchard, if you're an Oilers fan, is that for 3 consecutive years, when the games matter the most, he's elevated his game. And that's what you want. That's what you want. No question in my mind. Now, let's go Go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, where take action on your savings. Once again, huge shout out to Action for that massive prize pack that we gave away last Friday on the show. If you missed it, what do we call him? Kelvin? Clevin? No, it was Kevin. That was too funny. But Kevin was the winner of a $15,000 turnkey solar system for your home, courtesy of Action Electrical, which is awesome. Now, speaking of awesome, man, I love this tournament. I've always loved it. And this year, more intriguing just because of the teams that are in it. You've got the Medicine Hat Tigers. You've got London. You got both teams from Quebec that it's in Rimouski, and Rimouski's there. Moncton was awesome as well. So it's been fantastic. Sam Cosentino joins us to talk about the Memorial Cup. And Sam, obviously been covered it a long time, but it's rare to see, you could make a real strong argument that the 4 best teams in the country are here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Moncton under Gardner McDougall and his son Taylor as the general manager have jumped in there and done some amazing things. Now, Gardner, of course, has some experience when he came in and replaced Gordie Dwyer to win the Memorial Cup with St. John, the Sea Dogs, a couple of years ago. So that was of great interest. And he's a guy that, I've tracked him throughout the course of his career when he was at UNB and I was calling University Cups, and then he goes into the under 18s and does some really good stuff there too. So for a short tournament, he's a guy as prepared as anyone. Dale Hunter, he sets the record last night, surpassing Brian Kilray and Don Hay for the most wins at a Memorial Cup tournament. So you got ton of experience there. Joel Perreault and the Rimouski Oceanic, like he's the new guy to the block. So kind of fascinating to watch him go about his thing. And of course, the last time and one of my favorite Memorial Cups goes back to 2007 when the Medicine Hat Tigers were last in it. And they played a 7-game series that year that ended in double overtime with Medicine Hat beating Vancouver, only to have one of the best games I've ever seen the Giants and the Tigers play for a title in 07. Of course, Milan Lucic, Vancouver ends up winning that and beating Medicine Hat and getting their revenge from losing the league title. So, it's really neat to see all of these guys with a ton of experience and then one new guy trying to will his team to go up against all of that experience.
Sam, since you're talking about the coaches, I'm kind of curious. I mean, Gardner McDougall, you talked about, the fact that guy's pretty much just won everywhere he's went, and Hunter's done what he's done. Do you think any of these coaches or those guys would even look to move on or would have an opportunity to move on to another level?
It's a fascinating question. So I'm going to start with Dale, and I think Dale is super comfortable. He took a little test drive with the Capitals a few years back. I think it was in 14, when he tested. No, it was a little bit later than that. Anyways, it was 2012, I think. But he went with the Washington Capitals. I don't think the NHL thing was for him. Players have changed so much from when he played, and I'm just not sure he's into that. If you know what I mean. Yeah. He's got a more old school approach, right? Like Sean, you'd understand that. And then I look at Willie Desjardins, who also had a tour duty there in the National Hockey League, I think with Vancouver and the LA Kings. And I'm not so sure that he's not one of those guys better suited to be in the junior side of things. Don Hay is another example of that. He took a test drive with Phoenix, and sometimes guys are just a little bit better suited to be at the junior level than the NHL level. Now, the interesting guy in all of this for me, I think Joel Perreault's tenure there is still a little bit too young to make that determination as to whether or not he will move up. And I think things get tweaked a little bit when you're a host team in the Quebec League. Everyone seems to try and help you out a little bit to give you a really good team. So I think more time and experience for him would be needed. But the interesting guy is Gardner McDougall. Like, you're hearing a lot of talk about rejoining Hockey Canada for the under-20 program after 2 years of finishing in 5th place. He's a guy that I think is going to draw a lot of interest in other arenas. But I know Gardner really well. I just don't know if he's cut out to be that guy at the NHL level. And what I would look for him is, as smart as he is and as hockey intelligent as he is, I think his greater strength is motivating and relating to players. And so if that were to be the case, I'd harken back to an old Moncton duo in Danny Flynn and Ted Nolan, where Ted Nolan had obviously a really good basis of the X's and O's, but he was such a motivator and a great communicator. His players gave the best for him when he was in junior with Sault Ste. Marie, with Moncton back in 06. And I think Gardner is a lot like that. Who would be his X's and O's guys or someone to go along with him? I'm not sure. But he's going to be a guy for me that's really going to be interesting to watch, especially if he somehow finds a way to win this Memorial Cup.
Sam Cosentino joins us. Sam, tonight, Medicine Hat in a really good position, to win, and that would, have a showdown them in London for first place. Moncton and Rimouski, kind of give me a breakdown. You look at Medicine Hat, they had a big win over Rimouski, 5-4. It's been very close games all the way through. What do you make of this Wildcats Tigers matchup tonight? What advantage does Medicine Hat have?
Well, I think the fact that Gavin McKenna, I think, is a huge advantage, and I think the fact that Medicine Hat now has had a couple of days to get into the tournament, coming off a win, I think that gives you an advantage because I think you can play a little more free. Moncton, on the other hand, they're coming in off a loss, right? And so I think that now puts a ton of pressure on you because you go and you win one game and you can extend your life. And if you go 0-2, now you're looking at a situation where in the last game of the round robin, you're playing for elimination, assuming that, Rimouski which is 0-2 right now. So you'd have two 0-2 teams in the same league playing on that last game of the round robin. That would be for elimination. So I think the pressure here is much more on Moncton than it is Medicine Hat. And that's where I give Medicine Hat the advantage, that they can go and play free and not have to worry. They've already got a win in the bank.
Sam, you've mentioned his name, Gavin McKenna. I mean, everyone knows about him, and we all know how elite and skilled he is. How is he doing at the camp, and what do you see, his future and what he does maybe next year?
Well, I just amazing things like his playmaking, the swagger, the confidence. It's on full display here, and so it's pretty neat to see a guy at that young come into this tournament and walk around like he owns the tournament. When you consider London with 4 first-rounders, including Easton Cowan, and all the hype he's received because he's a Toronto guy. You think about Caleb Desnoyers for Moncton, who's probably, in my opinion, is going to be the 3rd overall pick, but top 7 almost guaranteed. And this guy walks in a year younger than everybody else, and you'd think it's his tournament. You think he owns the tournament. So I think it's pretty cool for a young guy to have that kind of swagger. But if you look, at the back of the card, it's pretty good. I'd probably have that kind of swagger too at his age. I mean, he's that brilliant. He's that creative. He shoots the puck. What a crazy, crazy release that deceives goaltenders, but you can't sleep on his playmaking. And so he looks to me like a little bit more refined, a little bit more of a dual threat than what Connor Bedard was a couple of years ago. Having said that, I thought that was one underappreciated part of Connor's game, and I hope that he gets back to that with the Chicago Blackhawks. But McKenna, you're looking at the 1st overall pick next year, and we got to come up with a slogan as to who's going to tank next year to try and get him.
He's a really good player. Do you think, Sam, for where he's at, let's say they win the Memorial Cup, which is a fun story, to come back to Medicine Hat for a chance to repeat in the Western League, it's hard to repeat anywhere. Never mind just in your own league, never mind the Memorial Cup. And then some will say, he can go to NCAA. And I know there's potentially some financial advantages, but from a player perspective, for a guy like that, would he benefit playing fewer games? Or do you think it'd be better for him to get his body continually used to playing, the 68 games, so it's an easier jump? Because he's no question going right from the draft in June next year to being in the NHL the following September.
Yeah. So here's what I'd say. I'd say for just about anyone their age to continue to get more physically mature at the junior level and to continue to get miles. So some people say, he's done everything he can do in junior. What's it going to mean for him to go back and get 130 points and play for a championship? Well, I think there's a lot to it. I mean, World Juniors, which you could still play if he ended up, in the college ranks. I think that's a huge piece of it. Trying to repeat, huge piece of it. But in terms of getting more mileage, I'm all for that because really, you're only a 17-year-old kid. Yeah. And yes, you will have played 3 years, but the more mileage for me, the better. And as you start to get physically mature, you get into that 19-year-old year, this isn't for Gavin, but I think for most players, now you move into the part where you're more physically mature, you play fewer games, you start to work out, and you increase your developmental line a little bit longer. So these exceptional guys, though, are always a little bit different and exceptional for that reason, because they may not have to follow the path of a typical player. But so for me, guys, I'm all about getting more miles. And even if you're the best at getting more of those miles, and some of that has to be coached out of you as you go to the National Hockey League, I'm all for that. I mean, listen, everyone was on Connor Bedard this year. The guy's put up back-to-back 60-point seasons. So are we expecting him to be what Crosby was back in, in 05, 06? Well, yeah, maybe some of those expectations were placed on him. But 2 60-point seasons for the team that's not particularly good is really good. And I think there's a lot more to see for Connor. And I'd say that about Gavin McKenna is the same thing. Is like, just continue to go and get your miles. Get your miles. I'm a big proponent of that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Sam, who do you got winning the Memorial Cup?
Oh, man. It's hard to go against London right now with the experience of the coaching staff, guys having been there last year, trying to avenge what happened last year, 4 first-round picks, firing on all cylinders, a lot of high-end talent, really good in the power play. They're going to be really tough to beat, but I'll be pretty fascinated if it ever gets back to a London-Moncton rematch before this thing comes to an end, or even in the final. That would be of great interest to me. What's really difficult, guys, is when you go from the Western Hockey League and go play out east, those teams typically don't do very well. So it'd be kind of cool for me to see Medicine Hat kind of overcome the travel thing as early as they were done, as early as they were able to get there, and represent the Western Hockey League in that regard and see McKenna on the big stage. So I don't know. I think there's a lot to be determined in this tournament, though. I think the teams are really that close to one another, as we've seen so far. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a couple of twists and turns. But right now, this second, being 2-0, hard for me to vote against the London Knights, especially if they have to play one fewer game.
Sam, well, it should be a great matchup. If Medicine Hat wins tonight, then it's first place, and you mentioned that for them. So that would be the ideal scenario for me. London and Medicine Hat should be great. Appreciate it as always, Sam. Enjoy the tournament.
Okay, guys, take care. Thanks.
There you go. That is Sam Cosentino, longtime reporter for Sportsnet. Really covers junior hockey exceptionally well. And the Memorial Cup, if you haven't watched it, I know, but Oilers fans, you don't have any now. Would I watch the Memorial Cup game tonight over the Florida-Carolina game? I would. That Florida-Carolina series has been kind of boring, to be honest. Like, there was maybe one close period, the first period, and then last game, the second, even a little bit, but I don't know. Like, I don't have much interest in that series. Like, Carolina has not been fun to watch this year.
Yeah, I mean, I could go either way. I just like watching, hockey in general. I do like the physicality, and I do like to see Florida beat up on Carolina. I think it's, I enjoy watching Tkachuk. You never know, what type of shenanigans he could be up against. But I mean, junior hockey, watching Gavin McKenna and, the young up and coming stars. I mean, it's amazing to see at that, we're all amazed at the NHL level when they eventually get there, how good they are. But I mean, those kids are elite and playing at a high level. And it's like you said, it's great hockey. They do a great job showcasing the major junior, and I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Jason Gregor, Sean Brownfield, let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. It's going to be hot. You're going to need it this week. Stay cool at legacyheating.ca.
Sports 1440 update.
Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final goes tonight from Sunrise, Panthers and Canes. Obviously, Panthers leading that series 3-0. Sam Reinhart, AJ Greer, and Nico Miklo will not play. All players considered day-to-day in the association. Of the Timberwolves hosting the Thunder at 6:30. OKC up 2-1 in that one. And in the majors, Jays right now lead the Rangers 2-1 in the top of the fifth. We've also got the Orioles leading the Cards 5-2, and the Reds up on the Royals 4-0. PWHL final game 4 tonight from St. Paul. Cross lead the charge 2-1 in that best of 5. That one gets going in about 5 minutes time. And some great news from the CFL. The Edmonton Elks bringing back longtime equipment manager Dwayne Mandrusiak for a 50th season with the team. He'll rejoin as what they've termed a joint community and historian role. Mandrusiak started his career as a ball boy with the Green and Gold in 1973 and was let go by the Elks during the 2020 canceled season. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Rogers Sportsnet host Gene Principe, and we'll hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Don't miss the midweek
And
showdown
welcome.
on Wednesday, May 28th at
Early
7 p.m.
Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome
Experience
to the
in
Jason.
City. Tickets start at just $20. Thestingers.ca.
Hey, sports fans,
Hope
we've
it's not
got
a
a
vibe
clear
club.
choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect
Thanks
glass.
as always
any
for
job.
listening. Maybe
From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit
Jason Gregor.
crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Sean Brown.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksyeg.com.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
With all the news about tariffs and price hikes coming our way, you have to be strategic with your money. St. Albert Dodge knows that and has some good news for you. Right now, all Ram 1500s are available with 0% financing for up to 72 months. So think about it. You can get into a brand new Ram 1500 right now at pre-tariff prices, while selection is still good, and pay 0 interest on your financing. That keeps more money in your pocket. And that's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
For a rock-solid start on all your spring and summer projects, Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete to septic tanks, precast water pads to outhouses, plus aggregates, landscaping supplies, and more. Renos, construction. Start planning right now at BashawConcrete.com or call 780-372-3854. That's 780-372-3854. Family owned and operated, proudly serving Albertans since 1963. Bashaw Concrete Products.
Need a golf cart that works as hard as it plays? The Golf Cart people can help. They offer a wide selection of new and used models, including Club Car. Whether you're after a lifted cart for the cabin or a sleek ride for the course, they'll help you find the right match. Add accessories or explore ready-to-go options available now. Trusted by Albertans since 1997. The Golf Cart People delivers quality and experience. Visit golfcartpeople.com to find your cart and hit the road, or the fairway, your way.
Want an easy way to protect your lifestyle and your loved ones? With Mortgage Guard from Cooperators, you can secure your mortgage through a chosen mix of life insurance and optional critical illness and disability benefits. Plus, unlike some other policies, your coverage amount stays the same despite your decreasing mortgage balance, and your beneficiary can use the proceeds any way they want. That's a lot of protection, all in one convenient plan. Contact Camrose Insurance Financial Solutions for more. Mortgage Guard is a registered trademark of and underwritten by Cooperators Life Insurance Company. Please refer to your policy for applicable coverage limitations and exclusions. Individual circumstances may vary.
necessary. Whether you're a weekend camper or you want to spend the summer on a great golf course, Silver Creek Golf and RV Resort has something for everyone. Over 200 service sites, enough room for large groups, and their new online reservation system for campers. See what Silver Creek RV Resort has in store for you. Call 780-855-3982 and book your reservation online today at silvercreekgolfcourse.com.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I love being Canadian. Despite what's happening south of the border, we've never been more united in our country, and that's a good thing. Know what else I love? The great outdoors in Canada.
We can wake up on the prairie and fall asleep under a Rocky Mountain sky.
That's right, Bob. Visitors will travel halfway around the world just to experience what we have in our own backyard. We're so lucky to live here, and that's why the good Lord created the RV, so you can spend more time in the great outdoors.
And the best RV is a used RV, right, Rick?
Every RV is a used RV, Bob. Unless it's still on the dealer's lot, it's used. All of the RVs at No Bull are used as well, which means they're already in Canada. Nobody can slap a tariff on a used RV. If it's here and it's used, that means it's Canadian. No surprises, no worries, just the best outdoor experience Canada has to offer.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on after 3 o'clock. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Monday. We got lots to get to in this hour. Also, we're going to ask people, like, is there a certain time, like, what do you think is like a midlife crisis? What constitutes a midlife crisis? Like, are there certain action guys that you think might constitute? We'll have to just bring that up in a second. You can always get involved. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Now, speaking of midlife crisis, Brownie, are you suffering a midlife crisis? All of a sudden, Sean Brown's renting motorcycles, driving around. We're getting some chaps on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what's going on?
My wife did ask me that. No, she was, where'd she go? My wife went to Greece. And yeah.
How long? She went to Greece without you?
Yeah, with my daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, it was kind of, what am I going to do here? So I wound up getting a bike.
So did you buy it or rent this?
No. I actually didn't even rent it. The guys at, is it Cycle Works? I went in there. I stopped in to ask if they rent bikes. And the guy's like, no, we don't rent bikes. But if you want to take a bike out, you're more than welcome to. So.
And you just went and tried a bike?
Yeah. And so I used it for the weekend, and it was amazing. I had a great time. I got a buddy that has a couple bikes, and so we went up to Smoky Lake. I was actually supposed to meet up with you on a Sunday, never wound up making it back on time. But yeah, it was, the weather was actually, the one day it was a little windy. So I don't have a ton of experience, right? So
motorcycle's no joke if you don't have a ton of experience out there.
No, and I had like an Electro Glide, which is a big, heavy bike.
Yeah.
So at first, when he was like, do you want this bike? I didn't know what to say, and I didn't want to tell him that I wasn't overly experienced. But yeah, that
like, just give me this $50,000 bike with no experience. Just let me ride around here.
yeah.
Do I need a helmet on that thing?
And I borrowed his helmet. But yeah,
Oh my
I honestly,
God.
like I went out to the country quite a bit and just went down some country roads. And like I said, I went with a buddy and we had a great time. It was nice just being out on the open road, and there wasn't the roads we chose weren't overly busy and stuff. So yeah, I had a wicked time. But getting back to the midlife crisis, I'm fine. My wife said this, like, what's going? Is everything okay between us? I'm like, everything is good. Everything is good. So,
Oh, it's awesome.
yeah.
We do have a lot of texts from guys. I went through one of those, no joke. I bought a Corvette when I was 54. Year later, I sold it, realized the car didn't make me as cool as I thought I was. Oh, nice. Now, the question is, if you sold, did you get all your money back? And even if it took a little bit of a loss, was it worth it? I'm curious if you're driving a vet.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like what, sometimes, because I know there are some people that are super into cars.
Yeah.
So and some of them are like, you know what? I finally got the disposable income. Now I want to buy a nice car. I'm having no crisis here. I just want to have a nice car.
Yeah.
So I think it does depend though. But I like his honesty that,
yeah,
the car was, we got a few, hey guys, get divorced in your 50s. You'll realize how quickly a midlife crisis comes on, even when you don't expect it. Ooh.
I'm not
going to try that one, but I'll take your word for it there, Bob. Take your word for it.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Corvettes, I've seen some nice ones. They are a nice looking car. They're expensive. They're nice. But I always just wonder, living in Europe, going down to the States, and I just worry about having a nice car on Alberta roads. Like, it just seems like there's a pothole after pothole, right? And if you have a nice car, that would concern me.
Yeah. Hey guys, my ex had a mid-30s midlife crisis. Constant complained she wasn't married, had kids, even though we were dating. Bullet dodged. Well, maybe, I don't know if you have different expectations. I'm sure for some, right? It's like, hey, I want to get on it. If you want kids, you want kids, and then find somebody who wants kids. That's what I would always say.
Yeah, if you don't want kids, don't have kids. I'll tell you that.
God, no.
Like,
I know people who want kids, and then they're saying, like, was that a good idea?
Yeah, I've always admired my brother for that, because him and his wife chose not to have kids at a young age.
Bastard.
And
at a young age.
At a young
so
age.
did they end up having them later?
No, he still doesn't have kids, but he's a great uncle, loves kids, loves, babies, and he would be such a good father, but they never chose to have him. He never wanted them, and he's happy for it. And good on him for just, because you know what, if you don't want to have kids, being a parent, the commitment and what it takes to be a good parent, it's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it is now. It's extremely rewarding, but yes, I always tell people it's not like there's things you rush into, right? Like maybe a decision on some of the jeans you buy or different things like that, or renting a motorbike for a day. You can rush into those decisions. You don't rush in to decide if you want a kid, right? And it's not like, oh, they're cute, because everybody thinks about the cute days.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. Now it's super rewarding, but that would be my number one thing. Like I was so thankful, never had kids until I was ready to have kids.
Yeah.
Because man, you got to grow up when you have kids. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
You can, because usually, like I was 20, I could barely take care of myself. I was going to take care of a kid.
What was the funnest stage? I know Beckett's still young, but
you know what?
Is there a stage?
I still think he's still, like now
he's had a great.
Like now he's at a stage where like he kind of chirps. Like, so kids, they'll have like, I'm learning all the new lingos. Like it's funny how, you kind of had chirps a little bit, but they have lingo now that's totally different. So, but the big one is you're a dustpan, right?
Oh, okay.
And so, and I actually like the term dustpan because it's funny. It's, like when you think of a dustpan, it's like whatever, just picks up dust.
Yeah.
But a dustpan is kind of like, a little bit of a chump or whatever.
Yeah.
So dustpan when he'll do something, it's like, you're a dustpan. And so now though, that I use it on him all the time. Hey, duster, like, oh, and a lot of times you can say it when it, like, if, they're going to make a mistake and like, are you being a dustpan here? That you're talking their language and it seems to diffuse the situation quicker.
Oh yeah. That's funny. So my daughter had nationals at the conference center there. And speaking of, their lingo and I'm, naturally like with my son's not around as much right now because he's at school, but I always enjoy their banter. Right. And so I heard a great one this weekend with my daughter and her friends, and they were cruising around in between games. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, we're just going to go, we're going cruising looking for a huzz. And I'm like, what? What's a husband? So they were just kind of, because it was a boys and girls provincial, and so yeah, I just thought that I couldn't get over that. The whole weekend I was just like, hey, what are you doing? You cruising for a husband between games? Like, some of the stuff they come up with is actually hilarious.
Well, there's not. Well, you look back, you probably don't remember some of the terms you used.
I don't remember being that funny as these kids are. Like, I think they're hilarious. The way the banter.
Well, you
the
probably
way they
thought
talk
you
to
were
each
funny.
other. That's
most of us did. Like, we're pretty funny.
That's
right. It's like you're not even on mushrooms, but you think you are, and you think you're pretty funny. Everything's funny then.
Yeah.
So I've heard. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Lots of, man, this midlife crisis text line. There are some funny ones. We'll have to get into a few of those. Hey, guys, just joining. What's the update on Brown? Connor Brown is out. Not going to play tomorrow. I don't expect Connor Brown. I won't be shocked if he doesn't play the rest of the series, to be honest, unless maybe it gets to a game 7. And C.S. Ekholm is very close, but I still don't think he's going to play tomorrow. I think it's going to be Arvidsson who comes in. I do know that Calvin Pickard will be the backup tomorrow for the Edmonton Oilers, which is, you know what? Now, there's no pressure on Stuart Skinner. Nothing changes, except if there is an injury or something, I'd much rather have Calvin Pickard coming off the bench than Olivier Roger, who has no experience. Like, that's just a no-brainer.
What about, man, Stuart Skinner has to get a lot of credit for the way he's grinded and bounced back, right? Knowing that Calvin Pickard was out and his backup is an inexperienced goaltender, and he was able to perform and play the way he's played. I love that guy's approach. I love the way he's handled himself. I love the fact that he's grinded through this. Credit on him, or to him.
Well, you know what? It was interesting listening to Pete DeBoer, because someone asked him if you're surprised about Stuart Skinner. He's like, no, I saw this last year. And I think it's always good sometimes to ask for an outside perspective, right? People, when you're inside of one thing, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're a Dallas Stars fan, you're like, this Stuart Skinner guy, why is everybody complaining? He beat them last year in 6 and was unreal in a few of those games.
Yeah.
Right? Only allowed more than 2 goals once.
Yeah.
And then this year he pitches a shutout. Now, the first game they scored, I didn't love the 4th goal. Okay, we can say that. But 1 goal in 3 games, whatever. So Skinner has played and I've said, and I don't argue, go back and watch the first 2 LA games. He didn't play bad. He just didn't make a great save. Totally valid. So part of your job was he didn't excel at his job, but I didn't see a lot of weak goals in those first 2 games. I thought the Oilers were worse than Stuart Skinner was.
Yeah, exactly.
in those 2 games. And, he's got a lot of confidence. Like yesterday, man, he's just moving around, following the puck. We'll have Kevin Woodley coming up next hour. And we're going to talk with Woodley about it, because I always send him text message asking about questions that we're going to want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I am going to talk about Stuart Skinner's movement, because it looked really good. And I know they said, well, Stuart Skinner side to side isn't good, but in this series, it's been really good at times.
Yeah. So we're noticing a difference on, the confidence that they're playing in individually as a team. Do you notice it as being, part of media and covering it? And what's the dressing room like? Do you notice a difference, like throughout the season? Do you notice that type of stuff?
In what way?
Well, just the guys more approachable. Their demeanor. Kick up.
Stuart Skinner. Well, I can only talk for my own personal opinion. Yeah. Stuart Skinner has been one of the most approachable players I've ever covered, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Right? You can have the thing I like about Skinner is you can have like a deep conversation about the position and about what's going on, rather than just kind of like headline answers. I think, Stu gives you some stuff. I know people they saw him on the TNT and they're like, oh my goodness. I'm like, yeah, but that's how Stuart Skinner is all the time. We sit down. We played interviews on our show like that. I actually have an interview coming up today with Troy Stetcher that I sat today with him for 6 minutes, just about, here's a guy who came into Edmonton when got traded here last year, was pumped, and then very annoyed they didn't get to play. And so we talked about, he basically had to wait a year to get back to the playoffs. The reason he signed in Edmonton is like, I want to play in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so he signed here, and then he got hurt again late in the year. And he was like, are you kidding me? I'm going to get hurt again and miss time. And then it cost him starting the playoffs, because if he didn't get injured, I don't think Emerson would have got back in, to be honest, the way Stetcher was playing. But then he finally gets in, and, he's been really good. And, Stetcher is a unique player in the sense, like, I even asked him about it. I kind of joke, like I call him Scowling Stetcher. Because if you like, that guy never smiles in a game, like ever. And that's okay. But his demeanor and approach is, he's always been undersized defenseman. Like, he's always kind of been counted out. So, and I think that allows him to, like, I like to say, like, hit outside his weight class, right? Like, you watch him and he battles. And the thing about Stetcher is, I think you know exactly what you get from Stetcher before every game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he plays pretty much the same all the time. Like, he gives you everything he's got, because if he doesn't stay in the lineup.
And I wonder if the scowl comes from the fact that Connor McDavid pretty much knows he's going to go every other shift, or, he's going to play a lot, right? Where guys like Stetcher, myself, and guys in those roles, I mean, you could sit for minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have an opportunity. You got to stay sharp and edgy. And, the last thing you want to be sitting on the bench and be caught off guard. And now you're in left field and like, oh, you got to dial yourself in. Like that's what I always found when I was playing, especially if a game, started getting out of hand in the last 2-3 minutes. Like Connor McDavid, probably doesn't have to worry about that when they're up 3 goals. Right. Or certain guys, you're like, hey, I better stay in this because I might have to get into one. I got to stay sharp. This is my time.
Yeah. Very,
the game's over. Nothing matters.
Yeah. That's very true. Quick text and we'll go to break. Hey, guys, I'm totally preparing to get a vet for my midlife crisis. I've set it up by doing a bunch of renos on the wife list. I bought my wife a new vehicle while I drive a beater. When my kid is currently 12, turns 16, I'm going to give him my vehicle, which should have about $350K by then. Then I can get my vet. So he's planning it. Yep. I like it. He's got it planning for his, quote, midlife crisis from Ray. Quick break. We'll return. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you. We'll go talk a little Oilers next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Work hard, get dirty, build better communities. If that sounds like a good day's work to you, GS Construction wants you to be part of their team. Right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men and pipe layers for underground sewer and water work. So if you know your way around a trench, take pride in doing the job right, and want to be part of a crew that has your back, let's get to work together. Apply now at gsconstruction.ca.
Legend has foretold of a smoothie so delicious and refreshing that it could quench the thirst of a fire-breathing dragon.
But it's also a great pick-me-up after a workout. The new Dragon Slayer smoothie from Booster Juice, a legendary blend of dragon fruit and mangoes, destined to be your next obsession. Try it today along with the new Dragon Booster Ball and the Pink Dragon Booster Mixer.
3 epic menu items to conquer your cravings. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. Tomorrow is Ben Stelter's birthday, and tomorrow all proceeds from sales at Popeyes are going to Ben Stelter Foundation in honor of Ben. Head to Popeyes to support an amazing local foundation until June 3rd.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:30. Hey, boys, I caught on a windy highway right now, and I just saw a couple guys on their bikes, and they'd leaned right over into the wind. I feel bad for Brownie having to deal with that as a rookie from Mike from Kindersley. Oh, Brownie would have. Now, you keep in mind, Brownie is, you know what, for a guy who would drop the mitts, he's kind of like Struds. It's too funny. Some of the guys who are like, they be on the ice, you want to fight? Yeah, no problem fighting. Hey, do you want to go off of, let's go on, name a ride at the carnival. No, a little too scary for me. Want to go on the water slide? No, a little too fast for me. Right. So, Brownie if there is like a 2-kilometer wind, guys, can we pull over? This is a little too windy out here.
Have you been on a bike?
Yeah, I've been on a bike.
Oh,
too.
okay.
You know what though? True story. Didn't I tell you the story? Yeah, no, I was dumb and young at 19 and rode a bike way too fast down a road that couldn't in the fog. And then we hit gravel and thankfully didn't kill myself. And I've never ridden one since.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That was my get out of free card. And I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I've always thought about it again. True. But I'm like, man, it's an unbelievable feeling. I can say it to anybody. The few times, I rode a motorcycle fairly often when I was younger.
Yeah.
But a few times when I got on a crotch rocket, I'm telling you, like the speed, that acceleration. No, like it's nervous, but exciting and euphoric all at once. And I'm like, no, can't.
So I actually because when you go to Europe, they supply you with a vehicle. And so because you go there and there's still a good 2 months of good weather left, the dealership that we were dealing with also sold sports bikes. And so I thought, oh, wow, this would be kind of cool, like to get a bike, a sports bike. And so I had arranged, I was like, hey, can I it was like a CBR 900 or something. It was a big one and it looked fast. So I had arranged to get that until the weather, had changed. So anyway, I get it all set up, took a little bit of time, and it was the day they called me and they're like, hey, come pick it up. And I sat on it. And just when you sit on one of those crotch rockets, like I felt like my knees were up around my chest and like you're in one as soon as and I had the first thought that went through my head was a bad thought. And I literally
I'm out.
I did. I looked at the guy. I said, it's not going to work. He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, we did all that. And I'm like, I don't have a good feeling about this.
Yeah.
And so I've never actually, I've sat on one, but I've never driven one. But they scare me.
Oh, buddy, but they are fast. Like the acceleration ability is what is like you just touch it. And it's like,
see, that's
here we go, buddy. It's fun. So like we grew up in the farm, I had dirt bikes and stuff. So it's whatever. But yeah, you get one of those on the highway. It's unreal. We'll see if our next guest would in his young days trolling around the streets in Manitoba and Edmonton and all across Western Canada. So probably with long hair, I would think maybe in a ponytail even.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, we'll see as we get to the man bun. Yeah. Well, was man bun even a thing? He might have made it a thing. As we get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton, much safer than a bike, I'll tell you that. But great savings right now in the Volvo as the May Day event keeps going till the end of the month. So stop in Volvo Cars Edmonton. You can get an XC60, XC90 plug-in hybrid, and you can finance them from 0.49% for the 60 and 1.49% for the 90. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Gene Principe joins us. Gino, you ever ridden a bike? Motorbike, that is? Gene, I think you got yourself muted.
How's that?
There you go.
Yeah, 38 years of TV, and I don't know how to turn on my mic. That's why I have people. I was just listening to Brownie, hi, Sean, talk about that, and I was thinking, have I ever... I feel like when I was in Europe once, speaking of Europe, that when I was younger, I went on... Now, this isn't exactly like a huge bike, but I think I went on a Vespa with someone, so... Yeah, that's about as wild and crazy as I get. But that's it. I don't ever remember being in any kind of on a motorcycle or anything like that. Maybe I haven't reached my midlife crisis yet. That's what I'll keep in mind for the future.
Well, that was funny because we were actually talking about that earlier. And I was wondering have you ever had your midlife crisis moment yet?
Well, I'm having one now, I guess, sort of. I've got, I don't know if you can see it. I've got Invisalign. Yeah. I'm in week 35 of my Invisalign. Bright Dental in St. Albert. They actually, Frank Neves is the dentist or doctor, and I know some people that work at the office, and they just said, we want you to come in. This would have been 2 springs ago. So I went in and I said, like, what, why me? And he goes, because I saw you on TV and thought you should have better teeth. And okay. It wasn't exactly like pulling teeth to get the answer. And I said, okay.
On the broadcast.
Yeah. So I didn't do anything, as you guys know, long run in the playoffs. September came around of, I guess, 2024. And they said, would you want to do it or not? And my wife, former dental hygienist, current city councilor, she said, you're not going to regret it. Like there are some inconveniences because you've got this stuff in your mouth, but you won't go, oh, why did I do it? So week 35 now, there's my Invisalign right there. That's the top.
Take it out. Yeah,
and that's the bottom.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and I wear them on TV all the time. Like there is a little bit, like, for sure. There's a, to be honest with you, the louder the building is, the less you can tell. If it's silent, you can hear it a little bit more. So yeah, I've been wearing them through 30. This is my 35th week. Change over today. And so that's my midlife crisis.
Oh, there you go. Gino, I didn't even notice that you had summer teeth before then. I didn't know that. I didn't know that summer here, summer there. It's kind of surprising to me.
Well, you know what, Jason? And that's what's surprising to me because, in fact, I sat down with Connor McDavid, before the Four Nations. So I would say it was January. So I'd already been into it for October, November, December. Like I was probably in the 20 or low 20s for weeks. And we're sitting there. It's quiet, just the two of us and a camera or two. And he's like, do you have Invisalign? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, I never noticed. He goes, but now I noticed. So yeah, anyways, I've got to go to 39 weeks and then they're going to reevaluate and we'll see how many more. But definitely in the beginning, you're kind of like, I don't really see a change, but you got to give it time. And now I can definitely see my teeth are straighter and better with some time yet to go.
Oh, well, are you going with Crest White strips next when we come out?
Yeah, I've got my Jersey Shore look. Jersey Shore look.
Yeah, you'll be like Ross off Friends. Remember when he got the teeth whitener and it was just like, that's it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that episode of Friends. So in or out, I take them out when you're eating and stuff. But I try and wear them as often as possible. If you don't wear them, you don't advance.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, you can get away with it. That's good. So nice. Now, the Edmonton Oilers, not a lot that they're getting away with because they're playing really well. You know what, Stuart Skinner, when they have a breakdown, he's making all the big saves. You know what, Hyman's hitting everything that moves right now. Yeah. Lots of guys are scoring. I look at this series, and as we go deeper, this series just reminds me a lot of the Vegas series where Edmonton's controlling the majority of the series.
Yeah, and I think one thing, Brownie, you've been through this. You have to get better as the series progresses, and then you have to get better for the next series. And I think Jason and Sean, that's what I'm seeing from Edmonton. Down 2-0, come back to win 4 in a row. Win 2, have a heartbreaker, 0.4 seconds left, come back, win 2 in a row. Have a demoralizing third period in a game that they controlled, come back and win 2 in a row. And so this doesn't mean they're off to the Cup final, but it does mean that this team understands how to get better and then has done it. And, you talked about Stuart Skinner. It was interesting today, guys, that I don't often hear this. Pete DeBoer was asked about Skinner maybe, I'm paraphrasing, playing better than people expected. And he said, well, I'm not surprised. He goes, I watched him last year at the West Final. I know what Stuart Skinner can do. Stuart's done his job. The defense, we all believed, without Matthias Ekholm would be, oh my gosh, what will happen? Well, God bless them. They've been playing great. And you mentioned Troy Stetcher, who I mean, this is a guy you cheer for. He's had some hardships off the ice, particularly with his father, passing at an early age, and always, I don't know what it's like. I know a little bit what it's like to try and prove yourself, but imagine trying to prove yourself every training camp, every game, every period, that you're big enough, you're strong enough, you're good enough. And Troy's been unbelievable. And then up front, your big boys are from hitting everything to hitting the back of the net for Zach Hyman. I mean, this is wonderful hockey by Edmonton. And, you know, I mean, it may not mean a lot in the sense that the series could be tied in 24, 32 hours. But to this point, you have to be impressed by the Edmonton Oilers.
Gene, you watched this team closely last year on their run, and you've obviously watching this team closely on the run that they're on right now. What are some of the differences or similarities that you've seen from last year to this year?
Well, similarities, commitment. I think of Connor McDavid busting his hump almost 200 feet, running into the end boards in that Vegas series. And I'm like, listen, I know we've seen Connor in that documentary and being very vocal, but I believe that Connor does most of his leadership through actions and when necessary through words. I just think, you know, Brownie, you've been on the bench. When your best player is out hustling, out working, out competing, you know, everyone, and trying to do it in ways that we don't normally connect with Connor. I think that's been nothing short of sensational, and he's not the only one. Leon's doing it as well. So, and I think what I see is an understanding of what it takes to win, and that's something that, you know, last playoffs, it was not a fluke. You do not get to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final as a fluke, but I'm just not sure you know until you know, and I think that's what I'm seeing this year from the Oilers. There's a real understanding of what it takes individually, what it takes as groups, that being the power play, the penalty kill, the 5-on-5 units, and then what it takes as a team. And we're seeing all of it. And I'm not saying that Dallas is done and this is over in 5 or anything like that. You can only win the games or lose the games that you've played. And that's where Edmonton's at right now, I think. And Jason, you're better at numbers than me. I think they're 10-2 since those 2 losses versus LA. Mm-hmm. Listen, we talked about an Oilers Stanley Cup winning team that went 16-2. Okay, now that's unheard of to do that. But this team is really, really, really good. Now they've hit double digits in wins, 6 short of putting every single puck in place to win the Stanley Cup, as you do after a game. But those are the things that I feel when I spend my time around the team, Sean.
Gene Principe from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Gene, Connor Brown's out. I expect probably to be out for the series, I would think. Matthias Ekholm is close. Calvin Pickard is going to dress as the backup tomorrow. Ekholm's close. My sense is he's not going to play tomorrow. What's yours?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think at this point it's like pretending, you know, that it's going to be this goalie, but it's that goalie. I think if Matthias is going to play, I feel like the Oilers would have announced that today. And he skated with Ty Emberson as the 4th pairing. For a guy that has not skated with his partner, whomever that might be, you would have guessed that he would have done that today, whether it's back with Bouchard, you know, whether it's Nurse or Kulak or Klingberg or Wallman, not that those two would be separated. But I think that they're not saving him because, you know, like Coach Knobloch said, Matthias Ekholm's ready to go. You're putting him in. I mean, you're not waiting another game. 3-0 down. Is he in? The coach did reply to that saying, no. 2-1, you definitely have leeway. But whatever the last hurdle is or last hurdles are, maybe they just want to give him extra time. Brownie, I'm sure you've come back from injury, and I heard you tell that story about the shot in your glove, and when you were playing in the minors, and losing part of a finger. if you were ready to go on December 12th, but the team had won 4 in a row, maybe they're going, hey, you know what? Let's give them till December 15th or 16th. That's the only thing I can think of, because Jason, you're watching him. I mean, he looks ready to go. So I don't know what the doctors would be saying. Okay, you got to just do one more thing. But I believe in the doctors. They've had lots of work the last month of the season into the playoffs, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. Gino, always good to catch up with you. Enjoy the Vespa, and we'll talk to you again, and the Invisalign.
Yeah, no problem. I hope I didn't cross any Invisaligns during this interview. Take care, boys.
Principe from Rogers. Sportsnet. When we come back, something different in the 2-minute warning on the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's for a limited time.
You're listening to Jason Gregor Show, presented by Play Alberta.
When you order any large specialty pizza at regular price, the works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Whether you're a weekend camper or you want to spend the summer on a great golf course, Silver Creek Golf and RV Resort has something for everyone. Over 200 service sites, enough room for large groups, and their new online reservation system for campers. See what Silver Creek RV Resort has in store for you. Call 780-855-3982 and book your reservation online today at silvercreekgolfcourse.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready. Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
We freaking killed it, Nude. That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple play. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3.50. How are you? Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. And the new studio here in the UL studio, of course, watching Gosman still on the mound as the Jays, another afternoon affair today, leading 2-1. So there you go. Now let's get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. If you are looking to work for a great company, go to legacyheating.ca. That's where you can send them your application. There's a hiring bonus. You get a very competitive wage. You also will have RRSP matching, tuition reimbursement, and more. It's legacyheating.ca. Now, Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Of course, Cam has cerebral palsy, was in a wheelchair, and Cam has always wanted to be on radio, but due to disability, just couldn't until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning, except for today. Well, they'll still come to life, but he had some technical difficulties, so we'll switch it up, and we'll do Cam's words live. We'll see if we can do it justice, Connor, to some of his, but we're going to have a little music background. Connor, you got some? These are Tater's words, okay? You know, there are plays in sports that live on forever. The big goals, the massive saves. But sometimes it's the other moments, the strange ones that tell the story. I'm thinking about a play from Sunday's Game 3 that you won't see appearing nightly at any local theater. Connor McDavid icing the puck. Yes, on the power play. Come on, no way. Right there, Gregor. That would never happen, right? But it did. And Oilers coach Chris Knobloch remembered it vividly when he addressed the media this morning. In his media availability, that was just a few ticks past 9 minutes, he recalls it as fresh as the most recent brewed Rogers Place cup of coffee. It was the second period. McDavid's on the left wing. He headmans the puck up to Evander Kane, but there's a little miscommunication, and the puck sails the length of the ice. A shot of McDavid, zooming around after the whistle blew, said it all. He wasn't whistling Dixie. And to that very point, who the hell is Dixie? We ever figure that one out? Anyway, another camera shot. This one of McDavid sitting on the bench. Showed his fiery eyes and how he's going to, make up for his boo-boo in that Sunday matinee. The fire was 18 alarm. Yes, sir, 18 alarm. But inside that tumbling inferno was a driver. Motivation to do something. And he did. With 19 seconds left in the same second period, he gave Edmonton a 3-1 lead. McDavid. With that kind of timing, he should be a comic. The goal was golden, my friend. Absolutely golden. It took any and all wind out of the sails the Stars had. Big goals at the end of a period just tend to do that. The Oilers would skate off to La Bamba. Joyd would be ever so happy with a 6-1 lead, looking ahead to Game 4 on Tuesday. So here's one for you. If the Oilers are down late and get a power play, does the quiet, calm Knobloch start yelling, ice the puck, Connor? The 2-minute warning with me, Tater, is your special guest. Even if we have no clue who she is, Dixie. Gregor Show, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sports 1440. Tater. Well, it is, you know what? It's interesting, some of the things. Hey, you know what? In a moment, Connor McDavid, his second goal, well, both of his goals, really nice shots, good give and go on the first one. But the second one, he looked like the 60-goal scorer there. And when you see those type of goals, and McDavid produces lots in the playoffs, obviously. But as great as he is, he does make you think, and you watch him say, this guy could score 60 goals every year, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, nothing's off the table with that guy. He just, impresses me and everybody just on everything. The way he skates, the way he handles the puck, the way, he's basically can drag anyone into this fight. And, it's got to be frustrating for other teams and other coaches to come up with a game plan, game after game, for him to just find another way to pick his way through it. I mean, I think I've heard people say that, there's a cheat code. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing that he's able to do this at how well coached every team is and how prepared every team is. I had the opportunity to go on their ice once with him, and he's all business. Like, he is dialed in. He's a guy that wants to get better every second. He's very serious about his craft. That's the one thing that I took out of it, was just how intense and how much passion and enthusiasm and purpose he plays with. It was, it caught me off guard going out there to run this practice, with how detailed he was. So yeah, pretty special player. We're very fortunate to have two of them in the city. And I keep thinking back to what Paul Coffey said earlier. And I can't remember at what point in time in the season when he said this guy's going to will his way, or this organization, to a Stanley Cup. And, for Paul Coffey to say that with all the great players that he's played with and been around, that's pretty special.
Before I go to break, anybody out there, severe thunderstorm warning is in effect now, coming towards Edmonton. So, hey, you know what? If you got anything outdoors, just it's that time, heat, hot. So we're going to get a pretty big storm. So be prepared. If you got anything outside in the backyard, you might want to lock her down. Brownie, if you got to get out of here early on your motorbike, you might want to get home safe.
I love a nice thunderstorm at night. Windows open, nice. Rain.
Well, I do I like watching a great light show.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't strike anything, of course, but just watching it, because usually the vast majority of them never do. There's something
you don't get as
cool
many out here as you do in Ontario. I felt like you
get
more
way
storms.
more lightning strikes.
Yeah,
or more
not
storm.
Well,
it's way more humid, right?
Yeah.
So that probably plays into it.
But I enjoy it. I mean, I live on an acreage. You live on a pond, or so having the windows open with a storm and rain and frogs and all that stuff, I love it.
Oh, buddy, the sound of frogs is one of my favorite sounds ever. Oh, I love that. That's something I miss from the farm, without question. Yeah. So that is anybody out there in a farm, or even an acreage who's got the little pond where you got the frogs croaking all the time. That's that is unreal. Brownie, Oilers. Are they going to finish it? Is Dallas going to win? What's your thoughts? Having seen 3 games of the series, what do you think unfolds the rest of the way?
It's hard to bet against them. They look so confident, so good. Skinner looks great. But you know what? Dallas is a good team. I think it's going to go a little further, but it actually wouldn't surprise me with the momentum and the way the Oilers are playing that they close this quickly. I hope they do, and just in the sense that I think Florida's going to close their series tonight, and I think the rest will do both teams well. But I don't know. It's it's hard to say because momentum and things can change and injuries and that. But I think the Stars are deep enough and good enough that they're going to make a series out of this.
Really?
I think so.
They've struggled to score 5-on-5 all playoffs. Honestly, I don't see it changing. I think Edmonton, I think this is a series. I won't be surprised at all if Edmonton wins the next 2 games. At all. I think they're going to win tomorrow night for sure. And then Dallas might squeeze out a game 5, but I think Edmonton is in control. And I think Edmonton, when they've had the opportunity to close out a series, they've been very good at it. They don't let the series extend.
And you know what? I think they were a team at one point where you could say maybe they're inexperienced, or you can't say that anymore. Right.
No.
I mean, they're an experienced team. They're a good team. They got good leadership, good depth. They're playing mean. Yeah. Everything's firing. It wouldn't surprise me, but I just, it is, I love that about every game and every shift, every period. It could change. So you don't know. But it's great hockey to watch.
That should be fun tomorrow. It's Sean Brown joins us every Monday here in Sports 1440. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Before you head out, stop in at Fountain Tire for a full vehicle check. They'll make sure your tires, brakes, fluids are ready for whatever the season brings. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Oodle noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man
a little
named
music
Latimer
plays
Nudell,
in sports.
who was a trailblazer
These are
in the
Tater's
popular
words.
new art of food
Okay.
boxes. They formed a partnership
You know,
and aimed to apply their
there are
trade
plays
in
in
the new world.
sport.
At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
It's playoff time. Let's go. From pre and post game shows to analysis from Kevin, Lokeside, and Jason. This is going to be a fun run. For all things hockey, lock it in. To Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
The month of May brings machines, mud, and for us, many an opportunity. We're GS Construction, and we love the warmer weather because it means we can get to work. But to keep things moving, we need the right people on our team. You built your skills, you know your work matters. Now's the time to bring that experience to a crew that gets it. We're hiring experienced top men and pipe layers. So if you're ready to dig in and be part of a team that has your back, apply now at gsconstruction.ca for this great opportunity.
A pizza from Papa John's is already.
Continue on after 3 o'clock. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley, Sports
For a limited
Sports.
time, get a
Play
medium
sports.
one-topping pizza for only
Sports.
$6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or
3:30.
yourself. Get your
Hey, boys, I
meal
caught
from
it.
your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients.
I think that's good.
Papa John's. A pizza.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West.
How are you?
No
Welcome back to
American
Jason
on boots
Gregor
made
Show,
in China,
Sports.
so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian, and support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's two things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.404, welcome back. Man, this afternoon is just flying by. We've had a lot of notes from text. The storm is coming in from Pigeon Lake area and pretty strong. So be prepared. Probably not going to be here for maybe another hour or so, maybe even more. But just keep in mind that it's coming. Who knows where or when it's going to hit. But they've already sent out the weather advisory for people in the Edmonton area. A little bit of a thunderstorm is coming. I'm not sure if it'll stop over what many of you are calling the Terror Dome. So maybe not many, few people, but there you go. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, it's your one-stop shop. If you like it all, get in. Casino, live dealer, lotteries, games, I got it all. PlayAlberta.ca. Kevin Woodley is going to join us coming up. But first, I want to go to a conversation we had with Troy Stecher. Now, of course, Troy Stecher was acquired last season. Unfortunately, did not get to play in the playoffs. He ended up having a cyst in his ankle and needed it removed. And so he didn't get to play in the playoffs, which was obviously disheartening. He's played over 560 regular season games. Prior to Edmonton, he had played 21 playoff games, and he had 4 goals and 7 points in 21 playoff games. Pretty good production for a defenseman. And caught up with Troy and just talked about kind of like the wait for what he kind of had to endure to get here to finally get in now that he's played 5 games in the playoffs.
Maybe from the outside, I don't think people maybe really thought it would even have been like a factor last year, but I've always had confidence and belief in myself, and it was hard because I couldn't play, and then I couldn't maybe prove to people I could help, and then we come so close, and it's almost kind of like one of those things I wish I was out there. I felt like I could have been a difference maker, and obviously this year you get hurt late in the season and kind of think it might go through it again and find a way to get back in the lineup, and just trying to play hard every day and with a lot of excitement to help this team ultimately reach our goals. So it's no different for anybody coming to line up in this organization. Your teammates are so supportive, and nobody's focused on their individual self. It's a team group here. So you're going to win with 27 guys. It's not 2 guys that are going to win. So just happy to help out.
You mentioned the confidence that you could help. Well, you look at your playoff numbers; they're really good, dating back to your time in Vancouver. I think it's plus 16 or some ridiculous number. What is it about the postseason that works for your style of game?
I could be wrong, but I've always believed that I think this time of the year, no one cheats the game, and I think I'm a player through the regular season. I don't really cheat the game either. We're not pointing fingers. I think some guys might try to, create more offense in different situations. And then when it comes to playoffs, I think everybody's just kind of buying into living to almost fight another day, or making sure you're not going to be the reason why puck goes in the net, or making a big crucial mistake. So I think everything is just simplified and magnified almost. There's brighter lights, more eyeballs on you, and it's a simpler, harder game, and I think that just kind of plays in the way I play.
You and I have talked before about how I always kind of feel like you had to prove to something, a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. And ever since talking about that, I kind of chuckle. I watched Troy Stecher in the game, and I'm like, I don't know if he ever smiles. He's got that perma scowl on his face all the time. But your teammates say you're pretty funny. Is it just like, scowling Troy? Is that kind of who you are in the playoffs?
I guess so. I don't know. I think regular season too, it's almost like a light switch. It's focused for those 60, 65 playoffs. Sometimes maybe it's 80, 100 minutes, whatever it is. Like, that's your sole purpose in the world. yeah, and then when the game's over, it's just be myself. I enjoy having conversations with a lot of different people. To kind of exchange your question, I grew up in Vancouver with a lot of different cultures there. So like a lot of my friends are half Asian or East Indian, and I don't know, I just try to treat people the right way. And when I play hockey, it's completely different. I kind of have that chip on my shoulder, kind of that FU mentality. And it's funny how that works in professional sports.
Well, you're very intense, and you need to be. In the playoffs, every shift matters. It seems like a cliche, but it's very true. Right? You can be a 0-0 game, and one shift can change a game, and you don't want to be there. That focus, though, for you, how do you, because not a lot of guys can have it. How did you get that? Because, as you mentioned, you didn't play in the playoffs last year. You didn't start the playoffs, but when you've come in, from the outside, it's looked an easy transition for you to catch up the speed of the playoff intensity.
It might sound bad, but like, what are they going to do? Scratch me again? So it's like I don't really have anything to lose, so I might as well go out there and try to do the best that I can to help this team win. And while doing that, obviously, I want to perform at my highest level. But I think the biggest thing is just like not being afraid to make a mistake. Mistakes are going to happen, and you live with the consequences afterwards. So I think sometimes when you're a little timid is when you actually start to play poorly because you're trying to be too safe. So I think the intensity of the playoffs definitely helps. You come in and you kind of realize like there is no time to dip your toe in the water. You're just thrown in. And like I said, like what's the worst that's going to happen? I get taken out of the lineup. I've been there before, and obviously it's not ideal. You want to play, but life goes on. You wake up the next day and you go back to work. So I think that's definitely helped me with my my mindset.
This is the deepest you've gone in the playoffs. You're 2 wins away from a Stanley Cup final. The team's playing very good hockey. The overtime winner for Kapanen. I was trying to get the video of the bench. You're the first guy off the bench quick. Can you talk about the fun level for you in this moment and just these playoffs, and how, as much as it's stressful, is the enjoyment level higher?
For sure. It's an emotional roller coaster this time of the year. Wins and losses feel like kind of a new birth or the death of you. So, anytime there's a big moment for that, and especially for Cappy, him and I came in the lineup together in Game 4 against Vegas, and then he finally gets the clincher in Game 5. Like I was just like so happy for him individually, and having a firsthand look of how hard he worked throughout the first round of the playoffs and through that round to continue to stay ready, and the way he got rewarded, I was just so happy for him. And it's just pure joy for the whole group. It's Cappy's going to get the recognition, but at the end of the day, like he walks in the room and he's happy and proud of everybody in the room. So it's just it's a really unique situation this time of the year, the playoffs. It feels like a one big family in here, and it's what you dream of as a kid. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, the crazy part about this run for this team right now is you got McDavid and Draisaitl still at their ridiculous paces, third and fourth highest in the playoffs. Yet because the whole team is playing so well, it's almost overshadowing in a weird way just how productive they are, and it doesn't become the storyline, which just shows the depth and the production from everybody. And there seems to be a different guy every game.
Yeah, I think everybody's definitely stepped up in one way or another. But even then, like last night, like Davo scores a huge goal at the end of the second period to make it 3-1. Like if we don't get that, it's a 2-1 game going to the intermission. It's completely different situation heading into the third. So you need your best players to still be your best players. But I definitely think other guys have stepped up and helped kind of ease the load for them. Not that I don't think they ever wanted an easier load. I think they always want the fire and they want to be in it. But it definitely helps.
There's Troy Stetcher, who I always like his honesty. And why does the playoffs work for you? Well, hey, man, you know what? I can't cheat the game. Otherwise, I don't play. And I think in the regular season, some of the higher end skill players maybe can cheat a little bit for offense. And I understand why. And honestly, I'm going to say this, they should. If you're good enough, you can't play 82 hard focus games all year in the regular season. You can't. And guess what? You know what makes games exciting? Mistakes. It just does. So you might lose your mind, but the regular season, you want your team to be good for sure, but you kind of also want it to be entertaining. Because not every, you can finish first. What does that get you? All it does is get you home ice advantage in every round if you win the rounds, but it doesn't guarantee you win the rounds. So I like what he said there. And I think that's accurate that, you know what, for a guy like himself, he couldn't afford to, but other guys can. And that's, to me, that's fantastic. Right? That's kind of what you want. Hey, Greg's lost in the shuffle yesterday is just how good Evander Kane played again. Are you surprised by how well he has played for the Oilers? A little bit. Not stunned. Evander Kane was a good player. And, his injury wasn't one that was, he told me he was stick handling lots. He could do those sorts of things. So he didn't think his hands would necessarily be a big problem. And for the record, Evander Kane, it's not like, he was Mr. Disher. He's never been like a great passer at the NHL level, in the grand scheme of the world. Of course he is. But, that was never, his main calling card. Physical, up and down. He plays a rather simple game. And so I think that's a game that's easy to come back from. He didn't have any reconstructive knee surgery or anything like that. And the fact that I think mentally he just felt so much better, he wasn't in pain, that's a big advantage. So he's come in, he's got 10 points now in 13 games. He's been physical. Yeah, what is he playing? 16 and a half minutes. There's not much more you can ask for him, to be honest. Like I think Kane's given you everything that you would want if you're the head coach and if you're the Edmonton Oilers. He's been excellent for them. No question. I think he's been fantastic. Hey, boys, have to say I'm super pumped. Mandzusiak's back with the Elks. Do you think he will be going out with the players in the community? It's a good question. I think his role, for anybody who's just joining us, Dwayne Mandzusiak, it was announced today in a joint statement between Mandzusiak and the Edmonton Elks that the longtime equipment manager is returning, and this year will be his 50th season with the Double E. He's going to be in the organization in a joint community and historian role. So his quote was, "I'm super excited to return to the team. We're at the best seat in the house for 49 years. I'm grateful for the ownership group led by Larry and Deb Thompson and to our President CEO, Chris Morris, for bringing this together." And you know what? So Dwayne wasn't the only announcement today by the Green and Gold. They are also bringing back the iconic fire truck and the big sign that was always displayed in their locker room for decades. Once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo. So that's going to be back as well from the Green and Gold today. We'll hear from Aaron Grimes coming up in the 5 o'clock hour today at around 5:20. Now, as a coach and for Grimes, this is his first year as the secondary coach for the Green and Gold. So let's kind of talk to him about how that's going. Also, the secondary itself, there's some real good competition. And now I think you're going to see it come to the head here more. There were some guys cut today. The Elks also signed a 6'9", 315-pound offensive lineman. Oh, geez. Now he's not Matt O'Donnell yet. 6'11", still I think the tallest member all time of the Elks, but 6'9", pretty big. So you know what? They want to improve on their D line. Just finished up in the USHL or USFL, should say. You're always trying to add guys, see where it goes. And the Elks they got some experience for sure. They got some bringing in, their safety position, bringing McCletchy. You bring in, Ty Ford to come play the cornerback. Like those are two really good additions. The defensive line is vastly overhauled. Linebacking core is still good. I think to start the season, I won't be surprised if the SD is probably maybe a little bit more in sync. But I am interested to see the offense in the preseason game this Friday night against the BC Lions. All right. Trey Ford. So I think I'm going to get a head down to watch that game because it's a good opportunity to see what the offense looks like early on in the year. I know, and I'm guessing I was told, so I'm not guessing. I was told probably a half, maybe more, depending for the offense as far as how much they'll go in. 4:18, when we come back, Kevin Woodley will get a mid-series update on goaltending. Stuart Skinner has played exceptional since returning, which I said I don't think people should be surprised. We saw it last year. He played very well after being out for a bit, and he's come back in. He's played exceptionally well. So we'll talk about that, how the Oilers are getting to Jake Ottinger. Also, Freddie Anderson was sheltered pretty much in the Washington series. That's what we said. Yeah, he had big numbers, but wasn't facing a ton of great quality chances. And when he did, it didn't work for Florida. And for whatever reason, the longer the playoffs go, the worse Freddie Anderson gets historically. So at some point, you might want to change that. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Truck Month is on now at GMC, and it's one of the best times to get behind the wheel. Right now, get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models with a 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen, an available Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8 engine with 470 horsepower. Plus, the most trailering assistance technologies in its class. Sierra has some serious hauling power and is the only off-road ready HD. Truck Month is on now. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with the tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
McDonald's summer drink days are back, which means it's officially summer. Enjoy your refreshing small Coca-Cola or small iced coffee for just $1 all summer. Summer's booming with summer drink days. Excludes flavored iced coffee at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Exciting news. The government of Alberta is investing billions of dollars into new school construction. And by building 90 new schools across the province, the Alberta government will help create more classrooms and more space for kids to grow. Learn more at alberta.ca/schools-now.
A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Monday afternoon. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. The Florida Panthers have a chance to become the ninth team in the last 50 years to go to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup finals. If they can get a victory tonight, they're up 3-0 in the series against the Carolina Hurricanes, but no Reinhart, no Mikko Mikkola. AJ Greer also sitting out tonight for the Florida Panthers. They're a little bit banged up. I do wonder if this was game 7, if some of those guys, now not Reinhart. Reinhart, there's some rumblings. He might not be ready for the Stanley Cup final. We'll see. That'd be a big blow. Obviously, they're going to do everything in their power to get him back. He's a huge player for them. But you saw the hit from Aho, and eek, that we might have to get Grant Fedork on, because that one looked like, I don't know, man, that might have looked like a little bit of a MCL or hit potentially. We'll see. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. And hey, are you interested in working in marketing and sales for the Spruce Grove Saints? Well, they are hiring. They're looking for a manager in marketing and sales. So obviously experience would be nice. Not 100% needed, but definitely would be nice. If you're interested, you can send your resume to J. Hebert, that's Hebert at silentice.com. That is the manager for marketing and sales for Spruce Grove Saints. As we welcome in Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Woodley, how you doing?
I'm good, Jason. I'm actually back from your fair city late last night. So weather was beautiful. The vibes were off the charts in Edmonton yesterday. Unfortunately, I was at a different big game. I was just going to say,
I didn't see you at the rink, but yeah, you were there. You were doing dad stuff.
Yeah. Now, if they had lost in the semifinals, I would have been able to make it to the rink. Maybe had a buddy put a ticket aside and told him I'd wear a Skinner jersey if I came to watch with them so I could blend in. It's so impressive in the playoffs how everybody's got a jersey. So, I was looking forward to sort of catching it live, but instead they played for a gold medal in their tier and won. So the end of her club volleyball career at the U18 level, and went out with a smile and a medal and a W. Nice way to finish it off.
Oh, that's great. Now, let's get to Stuart Skinner, Kevin. I watched the game yesterday, and now he's had some really good performance. I thought yesterday might have been his best. He was just solid. Like, there was the one save on Blackwell in the first period. There was a broken play, and he had to get over to his, from left to right, and he made that save. He seems in complete control right now, and there's not a lot of wasted movement.
Yeah, it's a really good way of putting it. It's funny, that Blackwell save is one that I was asked to go over on Vancouver radio today, and somebody sent me the clip. And, not knowing much about goaltending, like, they thought it looked like a goalie just doing anything to make a save. And when I broke it down, it was actually quite technical. And to me, it speaks to a goalie who's confident in his reads and doesn't have a lot of panic in his game. Like, if you look at that save, I can't remember who it is that comes off the right wall just below the face-off circle, and on their forehand, prime shooting position, there's a middle net threat, like somebody at the top of the crease, and Blackwell's back door. And Skinner squares up completely on the shooter. And to the point where when you square up, that off that angle, it's not quite a sharp angle or a dead angle, but it's enough that, you're essentially taking your whole body out of the net. And so if that pass gets through middle for a one, or to Blackwell on the back door for a one-timer, like, that's a massive rotation, massive push, big distance to cover. And so that shows me two things. One, faith in what's going on around him and trust in the system. And that, hey, like, I am not going to cheat. I am going to take care of my job. And my job is this guy with the puck in a great shooting position. If I flatten out my backside to hedge toward a shot or go inside my post and he rips me short side high or under the arm because I'm not square, that's on me. And those are the kind that, the media, the bench, everybody reacts to. But I'm going to take care of my job first. Now, the pass gets through. I can't remember the defenseman. Jason, I watched a lot of the clips this morning to prepare for this because, like I said, I was at volleyball while the game was going on. Defenseman does a good job of getting the stick down in the lane, and so it changes the direction. So now Blackwell can't catch it and shoot it. He's got to dust it off take it from his backhand to his forehand. But there's no panic. Like, Skinner's essentially got to do a complete rotation to his right, pull his right side in, and make a push across. If there's any panic in his game, that's desperation, head first, diving. He trusts his technique. He trusts that he has time. He leads with vision, and he gets over with a pad along the ice sealed right into his spot on the post and a blocker over top. If he sprawls, there's so much more exposure once Blackwell gets it back onto the forehand for him to elevate. But because he made a controlled save, like there was a lot in that save that spoke to not only his confidence in his game and trust in his technique and not abandoning it too soon, but also a trust in what's going on around him and understanding of what his priorities are. Like, this is my job first. And if that pass gets through, I've got time to get there. I don't need to go goalie 9-1-1 early on. And that allows him to make a fairly tough save look a lot easier than it probably was.
Kevin Woodley from In Go Magazine and NHL.com joins us. When you look at Skinner, you talked about how, the technical, he's obviously got confidence in his game right now. What about at the other end in Jake Ottinger? There's a lot of people wondering, man, the Oilers are scoring some goals. How much is it on Ottinger? Have you seen from some of those goals? Or because I look last game, there's a few of them breakaway chances, 3-on-1 chances. Sometimes you let in 6 goals, and I don't even know if I would blame Ottinger on many of them. Was there one or two that stood out for you?
No, I'll be honest with you. There are some times, I thought the McDavid one, high blocker, which is, again, we talked about that book, right? High blocker, but low glove, because he holds that glove up so high and you're better off to shoot low. That was a play where the end result, I'm not sure he ever fully got caught up after the wrap attempt. Another thing we talked about, right? To me, this is a goaltender who, all goalies at this level, strengths and weaknesses, and everybody's picked it apart because he spent so much time in the playoffs. And to me, the Oilers are really, they're doing a really nice job of targeting very specific things. They're not just, wasting shots. We talked about this in the Cup final against Bobrovsky last year, how as good as Bob was in the first 3 games, they kept playing to his strengths. And to me right now, this is a very good breakdown pre-scout by the Oilers, probably Dustin Schwartz, at the forefront of it, knowing how well he sort of picks apart opposing goaltenders. And for the second straight year in a row, when they get those chances, and hey, they are getting quality looks, they're burying in ways that tells me they've read that book, that they're paying attention to some of those details. And so how much of that is on Ottinger? Honestly, I don't think he's been bad. Statistically, he's underwater in this series. As a matter of fact, going into tonight's game with Freddie Anderson getting back in net for the Carolina Hurricanes, he is the only starting goaltender left above expected. Sergei Bobrovsky is slightly below. Jake Ottinger is slightly below. And guess what? Stuart Skinner is just slightly below, but now ahead of Jake Ottinger on the playoffs as a whole in terms of adjusted save percentage, adjusted numbers. So, a lot of this is sort of what the teams give you, what you can take advantage of. And then when you get your opportunities, and I don't think Carolina's done a very good job of this because they haven't had a ton of looks, obviously. They're getting caved in, they're not generating. But when they do, they're trying to beat Bob along the ice. What are we doing here? Stankoven the other day, backdoor one-timer. And listen, incredible athleticism to get across and get the blocker up above the pads by Sergei Bobrovsky. But if my simple NHL.com pre-scout says that you better make sure you hit the top half of the net because guaranteed he's not only getting a pad, but he's got a glove over top of it to protect it, then you have to execute offensively too, right? You cannot give him that chance to make a momentum-changing save. And so I think the Oilers are doing a fantastic job of when they get their looks and their moments, they're putting it where they're supposed to put it. And at the other end, just to rewind on Stuart a little bit, he's been really good. Not sprawling, not abandoning technique early, staying over his knees. We talk about that a lot with him, right? But you know what the Oilers have also been exceptional at? Not giving up rush chances, just like the Vegas series, not giving up rush chances to one of the best rush offenses in the league. And I actually pulled those numbers for us today, Jason, since game 4. So that's 5 games played now since game 4 against Vegas. So game 4 and 5 and now 1, 2, 3. The Oilers have given up a total of 10 high-danger chances off the rush in 5 games. 6 of them were in game 1 versus Dallas. So in those other 4 games in which Stu has given up 1 goal, they are averaging 1 high-danger chance per game. And in those 5 games, they have only given up 1 slot line, 1 east-west play, high danger off the rush that the other team's been able to put on net. They are doing a great job. And again, we always talk about defending. It's also about not turning pucks over in spots, not making the type of mistakes that give teams a chance to get out in transition and make plays across the middle of the ice, make those passes. So credit to the way the Oilers are defending. That Blackwell one cutting off the ball, again, not a rush chance, but again, stealing off, having that stick down there to deflect it. There's a lot of good things going on. And then, full credit, like the other night, yesterday's game, one of the two high danger chances off the rush that they gave up was after McDavid almost scored at one end, and then it goes down the other way. And if I'm being super critical, I didn't love the back check on it. McDavid sort of waves at it on the blue line, and there's a broken play, second chance opportunity off the rush, and Stu does a great job on it. So he's bailing them out at a higher rate than he was in those first two LA games, for sure, when they do give up high danger chances. But the type they're giving up and the amount they're giving up just fit his strength so much better than what they were doing in those first two against LA.
Yeah, well, looking at Dallas yesterday in the second period, they didn't create off the rush. They created more in the zone, which really isn't their strength, but they actually did a pretty good job of it. And I know you've talked about it before with us as Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, their guest, how Stuart Skinner's strength is on in-zone plays, right? Like that's where last year, I think you had him ranked in the top 5, right? Off the rush was a weakness. Every goalie has one, but his in-zone play, he was there. So do the numbers match that even if Dallas is creating there, that's where Skinner's really excelling?
Yeah, they were. And again, like that's what just don't give up stuff like too much off the rush. And every goalie will tell it. Like, this isn't a Stuart Skinner thing. Like, I think I've shared this anecdote about Robin Lehner. When I played in Buffalo, we gave up 5-man odd man rushes a game. I went to the Islanders and it was 1 every 2 games. Like, even if I'm on my game and those passes get through, 2 or 3 out of 5 will go in. Like, that's just the reality of odd man rushes. So Don't give up the easy ones. If you keep it in zone, he's so good spot to spot, right? Like, allow him to make his reads. I think he's made improvements. If I was being critical of the meltdown in game 1, and honestly, Jason, it's been a blur this last week. I can't remember if we talked since then. The only criticism I would have was on the screen goal at the beginning that started it all for Dallas in game 1 in terms of the comeback and the momentum. I know it was all on the power play. That screen has got to be short side sightline for him, and he gets stuck behind it. And it's a hell of a screen. It's multiple, it's layered, but there was a window there to be on the short side early rather than sitting behind it. And the only excuse, like, it's goalie 101 to be short side there, especially if it's a left shot at the point, and it was in Heiskanen. The only way you should be middle there is if it's a right shot cutting into the middle. It wasn't. That's the only one where I sort of had, there's some criticism. Other than that, I think he's managed his screens really well. And as long as you keep it in zone, I just think you give him such a better chance to, again, this is like Aiden Hill when they won a cup, right? Like, give your goalie an opportunity to play to his strengths rather than letting the other team exploit his weaknesses. And that, switch that to Ottinger.
Right.
They're generating looks. And then when they do, they're really being good about sort of going after the things that you would list on a scouting report as relative weaknesses.
Kevin Willey from Ingo Magazine joins. Kevin, what about Carolina? They're going to go back to Freddie Anderson. And if you look at the first few games in that series, he obviously got tested way more against Florida than he did against Washington. I think that was obvious from some of the chances. But he also let in a few of those where you're like you'd want more from Freddie Anderson. Did you see something that Florida was doing way better to get goals that Washington wasn't doing?
Well, we talk about rush, and Florida transitions off the rush so fast. And they're just such a good offense. Like, there was one from behind the net where Verhaeghe passed it out front, and then there was another pass across, or Verhaeghe came out, passed it out front, and there was a cross ice pass to Tkachuk. And it's like, okay, so that goes right through the crease. Should Freddie Anderson break that up with his stick? Yeah, maybe. It goes right under the heel of the stick. But again, executing, right? Like, Verhaeghe pulls it behind the net all the way past the midline, which forces Freddie Anderson to switch sides. And then he passes it back the other way. So now Freddie's late coming off to his left. The pass goes to his right. And this is what they teach shooter. Like, when a goalie turns his stick over, that is an active, like, that's his desire to cut off a pass or intercept the rep. Like, that's where you do that. And as a shooter or a passer, you always target underneath the heel of the stick because it's really hard to pull it in. And so, to me, that's just execution at the highest level. Like, from the physical stuff that is, part of the narrative around this series, to the way they execute when they get scoring chances, they are just like taking their lunch money, like taking their lunch and their lunch money and making them carry their bags home, like whatever it is. And there's only so much Freddie Anderson can do behind that. I will say the pace with which the Panthers are moving pucks east-west and shooting makes him look slower than he actually is. Like he's having trouble keeping up with the pace. Let's see if that's better tonight, because I made this point on social media. I know there was a gap between the series because Carolina finished off the first to second round. But after game 2 of that series against Florida, that was the first time outside of the playoffs, and we've seen his numbers fade as playoffs go on, since his first year in Carolina, 2021, 2022, the first 6 games, that was the last time he started 6 in a row. And so now we get into the playoffs and it's 7 in a row. I just think that you have to be willing to spell him in the playoffs. Now, let's see. It's probably too little too late. They went with Kochetkov. He hung in for a couple periods. And then the Panthers, again, just picked apart Carolina and, frankly, passed it around him, right? Like he's so aggressive. We talked about the poke check before, and he made some great plays. Like they call him Pokechetkov for a reason. Leads the league in poke checks, made some fantastic plays. Yeah. But when you're that aggressive, they're going to eventually find a way to pass it around you unless your defense is stout. And Carolina's has been anything but. So really big for me tonight is if we see the Freddie Anderson we saw earlier, like, was this rest a part of it? It's easy for me to paint that narrative. I'm not around that series. I haven't talked to Freddie. I know there's been time off, but it just amazes me that you can have a guy not play that many games in a row for 5 straight years and then expect them to and stay successful come playoff time. It's a bit of a head scratcher. I get it. I get why you don't want to go to the other guy. But, man, you don't do it all year, and then you expect it to work come postseason. Sort of remains a mystery to me.
Oh, dude, there's a few. I'm glad you said it, because there are a few decisions. That organization, like at the end of the day, I'm not sure they change a lot of their philosophies. Right now, I will say they did try to get the superstar in Rantanen, and it obviously they went and got him, then he didn't want to stay there. So I guess there's not much you can do, so you move on. But
And Stankoven's been great, right? Like, and Brindamore talked about this, man. Like, it can't be the young players leading the way. Like Stankoven and Seth Jarvis, like they are not the problem right now.
No. Well, to me, the problem in Carolina is that like certain teams are bad matchups, Kev, and I think that is a terrible matchup because Florida's, their jerk meter is off the charts, and Carolina has hardly any. And I think it's hard to compete with a team that just naturally has guys who play that way. And I'm not saying that the Carolina guys don't care and they don't play hard. They just play different. They don't have Bennett. They don't have Tkachuk. They don't have Marchand. They just don't have those type of guys who agitate and get in your face. They just don't. And I think it really hurts them in that series.
Yeah. And to your point about matchups, like that's so I don't know that you throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Right. Like that's like, it's gotten you this far. And I know they haven't won a game in the conference final since I covered the 06 final for USA Today with Edmonton. That was the last year that Carolina won a game in the conference final even. And I get all those narratives, and I'm just not sure. Like, there's still a level of success that what they're doing works. It's not, you're right. It's not a great matchup against Florida. You tell me right now how many teams feel they are a great matchup for the Florida Panthers.
I think Edmonton would give them a real good run. That's why I'm hoping there's a rematch.
I'm with you on that. I'm just saying it's a pretty short list. And maybe there are a lot of people that are sort of retroactively looking at. Is anybody looking back at that Maple Leaf series and wondering, like how broken is it actually, or just how good are the Panthers at playing a style where, like I said, like they don't just take your lunch money, man. Like they take your lunch money, and they make you carry their bags home. It is abusive. It is still pretty at times, the way they attack off the rush. Like it's got all those elements, and it's got a goaltender who, like I said, still under-expected for the playoffs, but in big moments when you need him, if you don't execute perfectly, he is also going to take your puck and go home.
Yeah, and when you be below expected for the playoffs, like
small sample.
Yeah, exactly, right? Small. You have one game, and that can take you 6 games to try to recover from it.
Yeah, and like I said, Stu, after the first 2 in LA, which weren't all on him, but again, he needed to make more tough saves. Yeah. That was a fair criticism. He's now quickly in these last 5 dug himself back out to the point where he is just barely below expected. And like I said, better than Ottinger, a hair behind Bobrovsky. Anderson's the only guy above, but at the end of the day, they've all got enough wins to still be playing, and that's what matters the most. It's about it's big saves and big moments. It's cliched, but man, like they've all had to. Ottinger had to come up with them to get them past Winnipeg. Stu's had to come up with them to get them to where they are, up in the series here. Bob's come up with them. Again, Stankoven, right? They haven't scored first in the series. That is a point blanker, and that's a hell of a save.
Yeah. Well, that was a massive save. You're right. Kev, as always, my man, great stuff. We appreciate it, and we will chat with you again very soon. Have an awesome week.
Excellent, Jason. Look forward to it.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine, and NHL.com is always a great rundown from Woodley, especially on that Blackwell save in the first period yesterday. A lot of technical stuff that Kev used to break it down. Might replay that answer in the 5 o'clock hour, just for those who missed it. Come back. We have 5 questions. We got Spec coming up. We'll also talk a little football. Aaron Grimes will join us. Of course, the secondary coach for the Edmonton Elks. It is the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Brought to you by, as always, playalberta.ca, where you want to stay in the game, get in the game. It's your one-stop shop. Lotteries, you want to play on the games, casino, live dealer, and more. Playalberta.ca.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular price. The works, the meats. Pick your favorite specialty pizza and get even more delicious Papa John's to enjoy. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
The big one is here at the Brick. Big deals and even bigger savings. Score up to 25% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Up to 25% off TV stands, wall units, and fireplaces. Save 50% on beds when you buy 3 matching bedroom pieces. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 major kitchen appliances. Finally, start sleeping better when you save up to 50% off select mattresses. These big deals won't last long. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
At Sherwood Honda, you'll find the true north traits Canadians are known for. Friendly? Check. Reliable? Check. Canadian made? Here's how you check. If the first digit on the VIN number is a 2, that Honda was made here in Canada, like the Honda Civic, CR-V, and CR-V Hybrid. Sherwood Honda has a whole lot of 2s for you to choose, a whole lot of spirit, and a whole lot of reasons your heart sure would be glowing when you pay them a visit.
Your Edmonton Riverhawks usher in the 2025 season with a massive home opener party Tuesday, June 3rd. Get there early for a cool Indian relay demo with horses and a world champion hoop dancer. Get your tickets today to watch the Hawks play at gohawks.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, I know it's true. Rolling through Monday afternoon. Now, I'm sitting here in the studio, the brand new studio at Sports 1440. Thanks for listening. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, watching Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. But there's no windows outside. Well, there's a window, but it's not to the outside world. So has the storm hit Edmonton yet? Anybody know? On the south side, supposedly coming in north from Pigeon Lake. They're saying it's going to be pretty intense. Anybody out there, let me know where you're at if you're in the storm and as bad as they were projecting. We'll see. Let us know, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. Now, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where, man, what does The Brick do? They save you more. Furniture, mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs, and they still have the OG of couches, the black leather couch. You had one, you loved it. If you don't have one, young dude, you should get one. It's a rite of passage. Get it at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, you and Brownie kind of had this conversation to start the show, but when it comes to Matthias Ekholm, does the Oilers play as of late, especially defensively, give you a little more reason to think you can give him more time than he might even need? Or do you think when he's cleared, you're just going to get him back into the lineup? Because we know he is clearly a top 6 defenseman.
No, once he's ready, you play him. I think it's that simple. Now, I think they're going to, sometimes a guy you know what, he really wants to play, and maybe you might be leaning to rush him slightly. They're not going to do that. And I think with Matthias Ekholm, I know he's skated, and people say, oh, he's skating, he looks good. Like, what does that even mean? I hate when people say that. Honestly, I can't stand it. Media, I'm watching Ekholm, he looks good. I'm like, I watch the same practice. What are we talking about? He looks good here. Like, there's no contact. There's no quick change. It's not the same. Like, there's the odd time they'll do contact drills, not in the playoffs. Sure, I watched the practice today. They're out there, they're skating pucks. You're just feeling the puck. You're just getting some motion, get a good sweat on. But, wheeling out there and where there's no contact, it looks good. There's no stops and starts. Like, to say it looks good is just, yeah. Like, what do you think? The guy was going to get cleared to skate and he'd be laboring? Like, so no, once he's 100% clear to play, I fully expect that they will play him. His first game, I would go 11-7 just out of caution.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else to add to that, so I won't. I totally agree with you exactly what you said there. Question number 2 for you, though. Lots of pleasant surprises for this Oilers team in the postseason, but who has been the most surprising for you?
Ooh, geez. That's a good question. There's lots of options here. I guess I will say, wow, the thing that's the most surprising to me is Zach Hyman's physicality. That was not anything I expected. I don't know if anyone was expecting that. Like, the guy's an absolute machine. He's got 109 hits already. Like, the NHL record in the playoffs is 126. Like, if this game goes 5 games by the rate he's going, he'll break it by the 5th game. So, yeah, Zach Hyman, specifically his physicality for a guy who had 59 hits in the regular season. Think about that again. He had 59 hits in the regular season. He has 109 so far in the playoffs, and the Oilers have played 14 games.
Yeah, that is wild, what he's doing right now. It's been fun to see. There's a couple guys in the back end, like the guy you just spoke with, Troy Stetcher would be one, but I'm going to say John Klingberg, just because with the injury, I wasn't exactly sure what it would be and what we could expect from him. And, he's been terrific. Puck retrievals in his own end, getting in on the score sheet last night, the little hesitation move he had there, like, that's the John Klingberg we're used to seeing. So I think what he's been able to do coming back has been a huge boost, and the most surprising for me personally Now, question number 3 to you. Which team trailing in their series 2-1 is most likely to come back? The Stars, Knicks, or Timberwolves?
Stars, Knicks, Timberwolves. Ooh, good question. Well, not Dallas the way they played. I'm got a rooting interest in OKC, so I guess by process of elimination, I'll say the Knicks. And like that's been a wild series. Like if you look at game 1 and the comeback by Indiana, and then you look at the Knicks in game 3, so it's the most unpredictable series. So I'll go with the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm with you with the Stars. Not going to buy into that one. I mean, outside of one period with 3 power play goals, the Oilers outscoring them 12-2. Like the Oilers have been dominant in this series. We'll see if it continues. I'll go with the Timberwolves though, and I want OKC to win, but man, Anthony Edwards, you just never know what he might do. So I'll say the Timberwolves, but really, I don't know if I like any of their chances. Question number 4 for you: does the Elks' disappointing loss over the weekend concern you at all? Just factoring everything that goes into it.
No, if I could put less stock into a preseason game when you have hardly any of your starters playing, I'm not sure I could find it. So no, I don't. CFL preseason, I understand it's you know what, it's for the young guys that they don't have a big opportunity, so you got to play them. How else are you going to give them an opportunity? And so it's tough on that road, right, for those young guys to kind of see and figure out the league. Lots of them are playing, 3-down football for the first time. So no, I don't put a whole bunch of stock into it for the Elks. You?
No, I don't think so. Like you said, it's you're on the road. You're not playing too many starters in that game. Once it gets out of hand, it just kind of snowballs. Then you're factoring. It's a new system. There's some guys that are learning new things. So I'm not too concerned by it. If this were to happen on Friday night, maybe a little more concern would be there for me. But in this one,
yeah, there'd be way more.
you know who's not making the team. And yeah, it's preseason game number 1. No, I'm not concerned by it at all. Final question for you today is the birthday of the late actor John Wayne, starred in many Westerns. So when you think of the Western genre, which character would you say is your favorite?
Go ahead.
I probably haven't watched as many as you. I know we got into it a little bit in the movie watch, but Django. I watched Django Unchained, and I like the character from the beginning. Kind of a badass, but once Django learns the ropes and all the things he gets into, I think that would be the one that probably stands on the top of my list. There's so many good ones, but I'll go with maybe more of a recency bias here.
Okay, no, that's fair, man. There's lots of good ones. I'm torn because I'm going to cheat a bit, and I'm going to go with 2 characters from the same movie. Now they were in multiple movies because I loved it. My dad got me into Westerns at a young age, and so I loved them. But I'm telling you, one of my favorite movies of all time, I'll make famous. Young Guns. Emilio Estevez, Billy the Kid, and Lou Diamond Phillips when he was Chavez. Those guys were unreal. I can't actually, I think I'm going to, I was thinking my wife's going on a trip in September, and I have kind of a plan for certain nights, and Young Guns is on my watch list to watch for that. I love that movie. There's so many, Dirty Steve, there's Charlie Beaudry, oh man, Doc. God, I love that movie. So, but I'll go with those 2. I couldn't pick either one, but I'll go with those 2. We watched Young Guns, did we not?
Yeah.
Buddy, I love
it's
that.
Regulators mount up. Right?
Oh yeah, Regulators and Young Guns 2 is good. Oh man, yeah, I love that movie. There's some really good Westerns though. Some really good Westerns. If you want to pick on pick out some other ones. We're getting texts already. And so I could, lots of people love Clint Eastwood and Unforgiven. That was, what was it? William Money? I think it was Money. William Money. But, oh God, yeah, I love a good Western.
Man with No Name.
Hey, speaking of TV shows, have either one of you guys watched Mobland?
No.
Oh, I'm telling any of our listeners out there, I love this show. So it's got Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, Hardy's in it, Tom Hardy. It's I kind of like those mob movies. Well, it's not a movie, it's a series. It's on Paramount Plus for anybody. And maybe you get it on your Plex. But I'm telling you, Mobland, fantastic. If you like mob movies and kind of what they do, obviously there's a little bit of death in it, but it's good. Like Helen Mirren, from her character in 1883 to this, is so different. Oh, well, no, not 1883, 1923. Sorry, 1923. But yeah, it's a good Western kind of. So, Greg's, you're bang on. Mobland's the best show on TV right now. It is unbelievable. I'm so into it. It's just another episode came out last night when I got home after the game and everything. And then we had soccer. I'm like, you know what? It's too late. Because if I start, I might fall asleep because I'm that tired. Not watching it. So I'm all pumped because I got it tonight. Can't wait. Mobland, love it. Love that show. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it if you're looking for a good show. Take a quick break. Let's get to the Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Take flight with their new legendary dragon fruit lineup. The Dragon Slayer Smoothie, Pink Dragon Booster Mixers, and the Dragon Booster Ball. Stop in today, only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 4, Panthers-Canes goes tonight from sunrise just after 6 o'clock. The Panthers with a chance to wrap this one up, currently leading 3-0. Sam Reinhart, AJ Greer, and Nico Mikko will not play. All players right now considered day-to-day. We've also got Game 4 of the Timberwolves Thunder at 6:30 out in Minneapolis. Right now, OKC up 2-1 in that one. Major League Baseball today, Jays victorious, knocking off the Rangers 2-1. You also have the Tigers over the Giants 3-1, and the Red Sox falling to the Brewers 3-2. Right now in the third, Dodgers lead the Guardians 2-1. And in the ninth, White Sox Mets tied at 1 apiece. PWHL tonight, after 40 minutes, the Minnesota Frost up on the Ottawa Charge 1-0. Frost also lead that series 2-1. And some great news out of the CFL. Edmonton is bringing back longtime equipment manager Dwayne Mandrusiak for a 50th season with the team. He'll rejoin the club in what they've termed a joint community and historian role. The team also announced the signing of 6'9" American offensive lineman Greg Eland and American linebacker Brock Mogensen. And from the WNBA, Caitlin Clark will miss a minimum of 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Elks secondary coach Aaron Grimes. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Back.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not
We
an
roll
option.
through Monday
Whether
afternoon.
replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and
Now, I'm
used
sitting here
semi-trailers trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance. When you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
McDonald's summer drink days are back, which means it's officially summer. Enjoy your refreshing small Coca-Cola or small iced coffee for just $1 all summer. Summer's booming with summer drink days. Excludes flavored iced coffee at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
April showers brought huge deals to Wolf GMC Buick. It's truck month all of May, and we froze our prices on in-stock inventory to save you money. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on some of our most popular Sierra pickups, or select up to $8,000 off on these amazing trucks. If you're in need of an SUV, good news, we have a great selection of Buicks and GMCs. Plus, Costco members may be eligible for an additional $1,200 discount. What are you waiting for? Spring into Wolf GMC Buick.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2-4s for May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. The Jason Gregor Show is always presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. That's Gregor50. Get yourself a free play if you're just signing up or a return user. Check it out. You get a new one in June. Coming up very quick. I can't believe we're almost done May. That's how it goes around here. Everything goes quicker. Hey, guys, it's officially thunderstorming on the north side. Prepare yourself, boys and girls. Ladies and gents, a little bit of storm brewing right now. Greg's, I agree wholeheartedly. Mobland, unreal from Shane and many others. Yeah, Mobland's awesome. I can't wait, man. Something to look forward to. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They are your number one underground infrastructure specialists. Whether it's as easy to make sure you got the running water to your house or driving home on the freeway without GS, you wouldn't have it. GS Construction. It's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Oh, doing pretty well. Nice to have the old thunderstorms back. We used to see them, just get them all the time, and then they kind of disappeared there. What's going on?
I don't know, buddy. Ask a meteorologist. I'm just trying to stay alive here. I can't comment on the weather other than, it would seem like it'd be a great gig though, because if you, hey, it's going to be 18 today, and then it's not, and everyone's like, oh, well, it wasn't 18, and then you move on. So,
well, they give it like a 60% chance. I think the next time you ask me like who's going to win tomorrow, I'm going to say, well, it's about a 58% chance it'll be the Oilers.
Sure.
Right?
Well, Spec, I'll say this about the Edmonton Oilers right now. Like, there's a good chance that they're going to give you a really solid effort. And when there is one area of their game that wobbles for a bit, like yesterday, Dallas came on in the second period and Stuart Skinner said, no problem, I'll make saves. And he did.
Oh, for sure. Like it's working. The defensive play is working. The goaltending's working. On a night when they shut you down they got that blanket game. They're throwing at teams. They're beating them 3-1, 3-0. Last night wasn't one of those games, and the goaltender steps up and saves their bacon in the second period. They end up giving up one goal on a night when, you give up that many shots and that many chances. There's not many days you're only giving up one goal. So, this is just the old new hero every night story going on. Last night, it was the goaltending. And I'll bet you they come out and play a much better defensive game in game 4, which isn't good for Dallas. Dallas just had a pretty good offensive game last night, and they scored 1. That's not good.
Wow, their 5-on-5 struggles. I outlined it before the series began. And that's why I picked Edmonton to win. And everyone, Dallas has way more depth. I'm like, regular season means nothing. Their playoff depth was not producing at all. And here we are 3 games into the series, and that hasn't changed. Like Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene, go down the list of guys who have done nothing 5-on-5 in this series for Dallas.
Yeah, that's it. And I think we said the same tune going last year about this time. So to be honest, I don't say that what happened last year dictates what happens this year, but it is up to the Dallas Stars to change several narratives here, several things we've been watching for a series and a half that are still standing. Skinner's playing better than Ottinger. That happened last year, and it's happening this year, right? Edmonton's depth scoring is better than Dallas's. Happened both times. Edmonton's big boys are productive. Dallas's aren't. That's a lot of things that haven't changed yet from last year. I'm not saying they can't, but they better start, right? If I'm Dallas.
Yeah. Well, to me, the story of the series is if sometimes we can overanalyze things. And then I would just look and say, okay, here we are. You're 3 games into the series, and I look at the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm like, okay, how many guys do they have who have scored a goal 5-on-5? How many guys does Dallas have? Right. And I look and say, oh, Edmonton's got 6 and Dallas has 2. And to me, that's and Dallas has 3 goals, 5-on-5. The Oilers have 9. And that's like Edmonton is full marks to where they're at. And so if you think that Dallas is suddenly going to change that, great. But I would need to know why. I would love to know the answer as to why do you think Dallas is suddenly going to score?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I think they had the opportunity. They got the ball to the 5-yard line a lot of times last night, right? They did create a lot of offense last night. Stu Skinner, he was excellent. And the reason he was excellent was because Dallas's offense actually showed up and tested them pretty hard. But you know what? They don't give you touchdowns for getting the ball to the 5-yard line, do they? Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And DeBoer said as much today. He says, we got to finish. You can coach your team into certain positions. You can coach to open up offense and coach to get opportunities and coach this and coach that. You can't coach the puck into the net. And at some point it's on the players. And I would say to you that that's the group that needs to, either get the job done or get the clubs out. That's where we're at for Dallas here.
Yeah. Looking at the, we know that Connor Brown is out for sure. And I watched practice today, Spec. It's just practice, but I noticed Victor Arvidsson was out early, and man, and I watched skates and, just his body language. This guy was buzzing all over the place. And you know what? 1 + 1 sometimes usually it's 2, maybe 1 + 1 in this case might be 33. So we'll see.
Oh, hey, that's a good line. Well, there's 2 sides to this, Jay. One side is the coach said, Victor Arvidsson, you're playing tomorrow. And he's really happy and he's got a jump in his step and he's given her, and that's what he did. The other side of the coin is he knows Brown's not playing and he's trying to make the coach decide to put him back in. Right?
Yeah, fair.
I did see Knobloch's reaction to the theory today that, listen, if Brown can't play, maybe you go 11-7 and you ease Ekholm in with sort of 14 minutes instead of putting him in for 22 right away. And he said, oh yeah, that's for sure a possibility. Like, he didn't mind that notion. So I suspect it's one of 2 things, right? Either you outright replace Brown, probably with Arvidsson again, time for him to get back in, or you do the other one and you ease Ekholm back in. We're going to see one of the 2. I can't say I'm sure what'll happen here. Frankly, I'm not. If I was the coach, I'd be thinking long and hard about it. What would you do?
I would play Arvidsson.
Would you?
Yeah.
And Ekholm?
No, I would just play Arvidsson for this game.
When are you playing Ekholm?
In the Stanley.
Let's say he's ready.
I'm playing him in the Stanley Cup final.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm confident in my team. And worst case scenario, it's 2-2. You go into a best of 3. I like the way my team's played. I think you're up 3-1. I think the Oilers right now are better than Dallas. I think they've shown they've been better for the vast majority of the series. And Dallas's struggles 5-on-5 have not just been come against Edmonton. Edmonton has made them even worse, no question. But to me, that's what I'm doing. And it's a groin injury, Spec. I saw the guy come back and, some people say it was different. I've heard people tell me that it was similar. So I look either way. The last time he got injured, Spec, it was on a nothing play. So I am erring on the side of caution. And I'm like, our goal wasn't to make the Stanley Cup. Our goal is to win the Stanley Cup, and a healthy Klefbom gives me a better chance.
Klefbom, can we have him back too?
Sorry. Ekholm, yeah. Well, I don't know if they need him, but yeah, Ekholm. God, I always call the Swedes.
You're like Skinner talking about how McDavid was awesome at all 3 ends of the rink last night.
Yeah, that's pretty funny today. Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, what have I missed over all these years?
Yeah.
Well, okay, there's a couple things to talk about here, though. I like this conversation is predicated on the doctors coming to me and saying Ekholm's 100%. Sure, 100%. He is ready to play. Okay. So obviously you're not, until that happens, he doesn't play. Now, if they say that to you and you're not blocked, I want to say to you, Jay, I would rather not have Ekholm's first game in a Stanley Cup final. I'd rather get him going here. I want him to get
Something to be said.
I want 2 or 3 games left or whatever's left of this Western final. Now, if I'm a little nervous about things, then I don't mind. I'm certainly not nervous about playing Stetcher. And I got to say, I had this conversation with Stetcher after you did today, and I don't know what you were talking about with him, but I asked him basically about, if Ekholm comes in, you're going out, good chance. And the quotes he gave me today were unbelievable, unbelievably selfless, unbelievably pro team. Like he was like the least selfish person I may have ever talked to in my life today. The quotes are fantastic. Read my piece. It's on sportsnet.ca. Really, really strong quotes from Stetcher. So either way, I don't agree with you saving Ekholm to the Stanley Cup final. If he's healthy, I want him playing. I want him ready to roll.
So then, fair to say if he doesn't play tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the doctors have not given him complete clearance. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
And that's going to be my guess for
okay.
Now Calvin Pickard's spec, he is going to dress tomorrow as a backup. Good. For the order. And I think, hey, like if this is Stu Skinner's net and that's fine. And Calvin Pickard, I've said those two get along great. Stuart Skinner comes off the ice, the loudest guy coming in, bleeping, and he's going crazy every time is Calvin Pickard. Trust me, they have a great relationship. But I think getting Pickard back, even as a backup, is a big addition for Edmonton because no offense to Olivier Rodrigue, but if something happened, I don't want to have to go to him. I'd rather go to Calvin Pickard.
Oh, huge confidence. Huge. It makes a big difference. Like, let's take all our listeners back to that fateful night in 2006 when you had a game 1 and Rolly gets hurt, Dwayne Rollison, and they dressed the wrong backup. They had Ty Conklin instead of UC Markkinen, and he went in and he was brutal. So, and they lost the game and they lost the series. So, we all know that if for some reason Stu Skinner had to come out of the game, let's say a concussion spotter or something like that, and they put Pickard in, this team functions absolutely the same in front of them. They're completely confident in him. There's no looking up and down the bench like, holy man, this guy's never played a playoff. Like none of that stuff. So I don't care if Pickard plays or doesn't play. He's been part of this team all year. Olivier Rodrigue's a good kid, but he hasn't been. Having Pickard back in the mix, whether he plays a minute, helps your team, I say.
Yeah, I agree. And I did talk to him about it, and he goes, I'd much rather sit on the bench. He goes, when you're sitting on the bench, even like in the press box, he says it's the worst. But it was interesting listening to him talk about when you're on the bench and you're the backup, like you're in the game, he says, but still like you're in the game. And he goes like every save when it's a big chance, he goes like, and he was describing how he moves. He's like, I'm sitting there, I'm moving back and forth. He kind of laughs. He goes, I'm probably like fans at home. Like when we have a good scoring chance, he goes like, I always try to keep my emotions intact, but like the guys laugh because sometimes they see me like I get in the game, right? Like he's kind of nervous about it in a way, like good chance either way. And he said he'd much rather be on the bench than in the press box doing it. He hates it. And that's every guy I've talked to is Ekholm, this is the first playoffs he's ever missed. And he was just like, it's the worst, right? Like it is. Like I talked to Troy Stetcher about it. Because Troy lost his father. Not funny enough, but unfortunately enough on Father's Day in 2020. And I lost my dad. So we talked about this before, but we were talking about it today, how, the Scheifele thing. And I'd asked, because people are like, oh, I can't believe he played. And Troy and I were both like, what do you mean? I didn't think there was any doubt he was going to play. Like, when you lose your dad in that close relationship. But, he said, and the best part was when that game was on, you're not thinking about his dad in that moment because it's the one time where if you want to play in the NHL, you got to be focused. And, this is a guy who plays in the NHL who's lost his father. And he goes, it would have hit him like a ton of bricks after the game, especially because they lost.
Yeah.
But he felt like that would have been the one for a few hours. That would have been the one time where you're just focused in on anything. And you wouldn't think about your dad at that point. Just because, like, hey, when you score a goal, you might point upstairs for a brief time. But
sure,
it was fascinating. He said, so the closer you are to the game, I actually think the easier it is. Because once the game's on, you don't really get nervous. You're just focused on doing your job.
Well, and I also want to say that there's no, like you mentioned, these guys are good friends, him and Skinner, Pickard and Skinner. And, there is a winning dressing room and a good dressing room. And that's what they have here. Like this dressing room now, it's a veteran room. It's a good room. It functions, flawlessly. There is zero I guess there's competition because everyone wants to play, but there is zero negative competition. Pickard isn't sour as Skinner. Stetcher's not sour if he comes out because Ekholm comes in. Like this team, Stetcher said today, he said, "Hey, man, I just want to win a Stanley Cup." He said, the reality is Ekholm's a better player than me, and if he gives us a better chance to win, I'm in. And that I thought was really selfless, but that's how a proper dressing room functions, right? It's just about the team in every aspect. And Pickard's in there, like you say, cheering for Skinner. And the minute something goes sour for Skinner and Pickard has to play, the shoe's on the other foot. You didn't hear a peep from Skinner when Pickard was taking his job for 6 games, other than him being at the door waiting for him to come in. So it's good. You got a good team here. There's none of this. There was a time here when there was some sort of negative rivalry going on in that room. Those days are long gone.
Mark Spector joins us. Spec, what'd you make of the Petrovic hit?
I'm totally fine with it. He's a bigger man hitting a smaller man. People say left his feet. I don't think he left the ice, didn't leave the ice. I think it's an excellent hit that I would want my players to throw every day if I was a coach. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with. The only thing I'm surprised is that how is Petrovic not in the NHL all year long? Like he was in the playoffs last year, played really well. Now he's in there this year, and I'm like, do other teams in the league not? Hey, geez, this because he has to clear waivers to go down. I'll say this about Dallas: there should be no chance that I look at teams and some of the defense cores that they're icing, and I'm just like, what is it? This guy makes $775.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer. He's your third pair defenseman. There's he's playing in the conference final 2 years in a row and does not look out of place at all.
I know. You're right. Give me I could go through the standings and find you 28 teams you could play for.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what his contract. What's his contract status?
He's got 1 year left at $775.
Well, he's not making it to the minors next year after camp. There's no way. He doesn't make it through waivers next year. I'm here to tell you he's playing somewhere. Could Calgary not use this guy? Could Vancouver not use this guy? Come on.
Yeah. Lots of teams that were, kind of right in that mix. You look and say, geez, this guy would be a big addition to how we play. Big, strong, physical. Come on.
Yeah.
Lots of
third pairing guy making minimum wage. Come on. You could play in Edmonton for Pete's sakes. Take him every day.
Well, they got lots of guys. That's the one thing. Well, hey, you got depth now. And you know what? Hey, quickly about that. John Klingberg becomes the 18th player to score a goal for the Oilers this year. That ties him with Florida for the most. The Oilers did have 20 back in 1985 one year when they won. But, they're getting tons of production up and down their lineup. Klingberg and Wallman, Spec, I think, when you look at Stan Bowman's additions to the team, Podkolzin, Frederick, Wallman, and Klingberg, all upgrades on what they had. In the case of Klingberg and Wallman, significant.
Oh, for sure. Stan Bowman's thing, I've said this about him before. Every GM has their strength, and his proven strength is rebuilding a good team, right? It happened in Chicago. They win a cup, I think, in 10. Took a couple of years. They lost a bunch of guys. They won a cup again in 13. Lost a bunch of guys. They won a cup again in 15. He's smart when it comes to, we need to fill this hole with a guy that can help us not 3 years from now, but right now. So this Oilers team, it did need a little rebuilding. They lost all that speed in the summer. They lost some stuff. They lost some guys. And halfway through the year, we realized this defense needs a little help here, right? Mm-hmm. And in comes Klingberg. Klingberg, he's a little bit lucky with Klingberg because other teams tried too on him, and he wasn't ready to be the player he is today. But good for Bowman. And then he makes a trade for Wallman. And look at Wallman. How that's for a third pair, I can't remember hearing other people outside this market talk about the Oilers' defense respectfully and holy cow, that's a deep and good defense. It's been 10 years of people saying, yeah, but on Oilers' defense. And they're not saying it anymore, So give Stan Bowman credit. They're way quicker up front. He nabbed Kapanen too off the waiver wire. I don't know if you listed him.
Yeah,
he's helped. I'm not saying he's great, but he helps.
He's helped.
He's added 5 guys that have scratched every itch. He's batting about 900 here. Good for Stan Bowman, man. That's why you're paying him.
Yeah, it's true. Spec, Have yourself a good evening. We will.
All right, sounds great, Jay.
Tomorrow.
Dodge the thunder out there and lightning, man.
Oh yeah, you betcha. Don't go on your bike ride right now, Spec, and keep that flagpole. Put it down, maybe. Okay.
Schalke sent me out in the bike with a 2-iron over my head. Is that a bad thing?
Not at all. Not the
All
first
right.
time either. It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, wait, you know what? We're going to talk to a first-time coach next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
Get moving with Volvo and save big for summer during the May sales event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. It's the final month to lease or finance a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $3,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save up to $2,000. Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
The big one is here at the Brick. Big deals and even bigger savings. Score up to 25% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Up to 25% off TV stands, wall units, and fireplaces. And save 50% off beds when you buy 3 matching bedroom pieces. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 major kitchen appliances. Finally, start sleeping better when you save up to 50% off select mattresses. These big deals won't last long. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Kevin Carius, Low Tide, Jason Gregor. They are all ready for the Cup run. Sports 1440 is your home for all things hockey, including our pre- and post-game show with Andrew Walker. Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. Tomorrow is Ben Stelter's birthday, and tomorrow all proceeds from sales at Popeyes are going to the Ben Stelter Foundation in honor of Ben. Head to Popeyes to support an amazing local foundation until June 3rd.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Memorial Cup going tonight. Hey, Western Hockey League looking to end it. The drought, that is. The Medicine Hat Tigers, who are 1-0 already in the tournament with an early lead. They lead 1-0. Victory tonight would pit them against London. Both teams would be 2-0. And whoever wins that game would get a bye to the final. So a huge opportunity. And, man, Medicine Hat, London. Oiler fans, Mr. Young O'Reilly's having himself a heck of a tournament. Obviously, he's still going to be back in junior. I guess there's a chance he'd go to the NHL, but I'd be surprised. Going to a team that could be going to back-to-back cups. Probably best to give the young guy a little bit of time in the minors. We'll see. Now, let's get to our football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit, legacyheating.ca. And we are joined by a Grey Cup champion, former member of the Green and Gold, who is now in his first year, first training camp. Of course, secondary coach for the Green and Gold. Aaron Grimes joins us. Aaron, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Gregor. How we doing, baby?
Hey, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. How's coaching going so far? How is it, like, as a rookie coach? Do the coaches, like, you got to pick up all the coach video afterwards? How's that work?
Honestly, I don't think we have enough time for any hazing, considering the schedule we're on now.
I know that's fair, but how like what's been the biggest learning curve for you as a coach in your first first training camp?
I think my biggest thing for me is just learning that you can't coach every player the same way, right? So being able to communicate to certain guys differently because certain guys learn in different ways. So trying to figure that part out. And then just remember not to lose my voice on the first practice because I need it for the second practice.
Fair. I like that. Defensive back coach of the Elks, Aaron Grimes, joins us. So, Aaron, you go into a preseason game, and I know a lot of the young guys in the secondary had their opportunity to show. And you being there, like, it can be stressful, right? Most guys know, like, I might only get one game. I only get a half to show what I can do. How do you approach that aspect of it as a coach, knowing that for some of these guys, like, it's their first time in a game, and I know they've been in training camp and everything, but for some of them, it's their first game, and the game on the bigger field and different rules, it can be overwhelming.
No doubt. And I think my message to them was just that, don't go out there and try to be a superhero. We've been practicing well. We've been flying around. It's still just a game of football. The bright lights just come on. So we do need to make some plays, but you're not going to make those plays being a superhero. Do what you've been doing all camp, and you'll be in a good spot. And then also, you're going to make mistakes. And I get to speak from experience, right? I've played man-to-man when I was supposed to be in zone as a young player. You just can't make the same mistake twice.
Right. So I love that when you made that mistake, Aaron, was it just because you remembered the play wrong? Or what goes into playing man when you should be playing zone?
I think, for me, I was a zone defender, and it was a 4-by-1 set. And so I only had one receiver to my side, and he ran an under route that I should have passed to the linebackers. And I followed his butt like it was man to man. Now, luckily I threw the ball to him, so I got a tackle. But I definitely blew a coverage there.
Okay. So when you're going through the evaluation as the coach in the secondary and you're looking for certain guys, and there's certain positions, you got some really good veterans who I think it's going to be really hard to beat out your safety and, Ford at the corner. So we understand that, but you're looking for backups, which are huge because injuries are going to occur. When you're coaching, is that in the game? It's more coaching, and the evaluation to see how a guy plays is more in the film room, or can you get a good evaluation in real time?
I don't think you get too good of an evaluation in real time. And from my perspective, from a young perspective, because you're just coaching. So you're trying to correct the mistake. And then maybe the mistake looks, different on film, either not as bad or worse than you thought it was. So that's where like I just said, after practice, the players get a couple hours off, rest their feet. For us, it's right to lunch and then right to grading the film.
Now, Aaron, being as a coach on the sidelines, you're coaching practice, you do all the drills, but now you're in the game. What was different? What was new for you?
From coaching on the sideline?
Yeah.
For me, it was trying to communicate with guys, but not really having any say-so for how it plays out on the field. Even as a player, if the play didn't come my way, I could communicate to the guys next to me. But now I'm on the sideline. I'm trying to remember the signals that are going in so I don't mess that part up, and then the rotations need to be good, and everybody's got to get a shot to be on film. I'm like, it was a lot going on for sure.
Well, that was the other part of it, right? You have to, as much as you're coaching, you also have to be cognizant of ensuring that the guys all get a fair amount of reps to show what they can do.
And that was the hardest part for me, because it's like, okay, the game plan is, okay, you're going to play a quarter, then you're going to play a quarter. Well, shoot, somebody might have 15 plays in one quarter, and the next quarter offense stayed on the field, so that guy only got 8. And it's like, okay, well, how do I balance it out now? And then the guy goes down because he rolls his ankle. So I'm like, okay, well, now somebody else has to go back in. So it's definitely took some math work, but no mad scientist. I think we figured it out.
Now, so do you have you got a little hand chart? You got your notepad and you're flipping in here and you literally got the numbers. Are you charting how many plays, or is somebody up there helping you on the side, up in the press box, or I guess watching and counting to know how many guys are getting how many reps?
Oh, absolutely. We don't count exact reps, but I definitely got Coach Nez is in the box. He's got the rotation. I've got a rotation sheet on me on the sideline. And then we had some players who didn't play in the game on the sideline who were able to help out and kind of keep things, in order.
Okay. Aaron Grimes joins us, of course, defensive back coach for the Green and Gold. And Aaron, when you go through this process, so the game ends, the result wasn't what the team wanted. And you balance that. Hey, it's preseason. At the end of the day, it doesn't count for 2 points. But what was your overall assessment of the secondary and the defensive backs?
I thought we played well, honestly. There was a couple of explosions we gave up on some communication issues, but those are fixable, right? And I think, in the second half, certainly we flew around a little bit more and were able to get off the field a little bit better than we were in the first half. So that was encouraging to see. And to me, that meant that, some guys just had to shake off the nerves, right? And not be a deer in the headlights, kind of get a flow of the game. And then they settled in and started making some plays.
Now, there were a few DBs that got released. Christopher Jackson, Steve Stevens, the fourth, both of those guys. And now it's hard, right? Like it's difficult to let guys go. But what was it that maybe you guys didn't see from them as a group that you felt like, okay, now's the time to move on?
I think some of that too is like roster wise. Like I think we had the most people in our position group to start camp. And I'm not sure how it typically goes because I'm new on this side of the ball, right? But you start getting other guys nicked up in other places, and then you need to bring somebody in to fill a different spot somewhere else. And naturally, that spot comes from the room that has the most players in it. But I know for me, from a coach perspective, I've got to learn to not get my feelings involved because I'm trying to create personal relationships with these guys so they play harder for me.
Right.
But the nature of the business is not everybody gets to make the team. And so every time I see one of those guys get released, like it affects me personally. And I dislike that part of the game, but I also know it is part of the game.
Yeah. Well, and because it's a fine balance because you played, and I know that, you talked about how you can't coach everybody the same, but you can treat everybody as a person in a similar one. Like, you be respectful of them. Some guys might need you to yell at them. Some might need a pat in the back. That's fine. But creating that trust, I'm sure as a player, like when my coach trusts me, when I know I trust me, if I make a mistake, I'm not sitting out. You know what I mean? Like
right.
He's got my back. So you can't just build that in one day on the practice field. And so at the same time, some of these guys, you're like, hey, so would you in the future then, do you think, is it, and this might seem like an odd question, but do you have to be less personal as a coach in training camp? Because there is the harsh reality that a lot of the guys aren't going to be there when camp breaks.
I don't think I'll ever change that for me personally. I think that's who I am as a person. I enjoy getting to know people and making them feel welcome. I gave a message to the team. Coach Killam has every coach introduce themselves. And, the moral of my story was I want everybody who's sitting in these seats right now to be able to experience this organization and this city the same way that I have. And that takes me getting to know you guys and getting you guys to get to know me too. I just have to deal with the fact that, if there's 22 people in my room on day one of camp, there certainly isn't going to be 22 people by the end of camp.
Yeah. How is it being, I know that you guys are really good friends. I think you might even be in each other's wedding party, if I'm not mistaken, but JC, Sheridan, yourself coaching together. How's that been?
It's been amazing, right? He's been my boy for the last 12 years, right? And like you said, I was in his wedding a couple of years ago, and it's been good though because we hold each other accountable. But I also know the kind of worker and person he is, and he knows the same because we shared a locker room for 8 years together. But now it's restarting on this side, and he knows, and I know that I got to earn my stripes on this side too. As long as he knows he's getting a guy who's willing to earn his stripes, so it's been very good.
One non-football on the field news today for your organization. They announced that Dwayne Mandrusiak is coming back for his 50th year. I see the smile on your face the minute I mentioned his name. Aaron, you got a favorite Mandrusiak story when you joined the team, or when over the years you spent with the team?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. But the first one that comes to my head is I love Weezy to death. He was at my 34th birthday party this past March. But the way our relationship started out was a young rookie who left his cleats in the locker room. I'm talking about myself, of course. I left my cleats in the hotel room the very first day of camp, which was conditioning test day. And I asked Weezy if I could borrow a pair of cleats, and he looked me in the eye and said, "You know how many times I've heard a rookie say that in the last however many years it was at that point?" And it absolutely did not give me cleats. And I said, "You know what? I respect that because he held me accountable." And I call Weezy Pops now, right? Because that's how much he means to me. I love that man to death.
So what happened? What did you run back to your hotel room and get the cleats?
Calvin McCarty gave me a size 12 and I'm a 10.5. So I looked like a clown out there in my conditioning test in Calvin McCarty's cleats, but we made it work. And I quickly learned the Edmonton way and doing things the right way and being accountable. And so I respect that.
So what, you were just kind of nervous and you just, you get packed up and you put your running shoes on. You don't even think, or your sandals or whatever you're wearing. You don't even think about your cleats.
Don't even and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm nervous. I just want to make sure I'm to the bus on time and I get to breakfast on time and go look in my bag. I got everything I need except my cleats. Thank God we weren't actually practicing.
You ever practice barefoot?
No, I don't think I'd be here if I did.
No, that probably wouldn't be good. One step on the foot might not feel very well. Now you got a quick turnaround. You got a preseason game coming up on Friday, the final one. I know the starters are going to play a little bit more, Aaron. For your position specifically, what are you looking from your main group?
I want to see those guys go out there and set the example. I think we need to go out there and we need to let this city know that we mean business, that we're putting in the work, and that we want to make them proud. And we want the rest of the league to know that, we're not the laughing stock. Like, we're coming to play some ball. Okay, we're going to hit you if you catch the ball. And if the ball's in the air, we plan on getting it out of the air. So we're going to give the offense every opportunity they can to put points on the board. And we're coming with that mindset that when you walk in this house, you got to bring your A game because we're bringing nothing less.
Aaron, always great to catch up with you, man. We'll see you down at the field this week. Enjoy the preparation leading up to Friday.
I appreciate you, Greg. I'm going to get back to grading this practice film right now.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. That is Aaron Grimes, a really nice guy. And how he talks about, like, he genuinely does care about players. And I love that honesty. That's one thing as a coach. Like, man, I got to try not to take this so personal. You get to know a guy and the next thing you know, hey, thanks, best of luck. But because as a former player, because you've seen guys, and eventually most former players don't get to retire on their own account. Eventually someone tells you you're not good enough. Right? For the majority of players, that happens at some point. And it's hard. It's probably a lot harder when it's young guys who still think they're there. Maybe when you're 38 and your knees shot and your hips a little sore, maybe you can, it's a little easier to absorb. But I would think it's tough for young guys. And they're thinking, hey man, like, my pro career, it's done before I thought it would even get going. That's hard. Final break. We'll come back, wrap things up. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Legend has foretold of a smoothie so delicious and refreshing that it could quench the thirst of a fire-breathing dragon.
But it's also a great pick-me-up after a workout. The new Dragon Slaya smoothie from Booster Juice, a legendary blend of dragon fruit and mangoes, destined to be your next obsession. Try it today, along with the new Dragon Booster Ball and the Pink Dragon Booster Mixer.
3 epic menu items to conquer your cravings. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing: taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. And I know there's no such thing as a free lunch, but when you bring your used RV to No Bull, I'll give you a free roof assessment. Now, what do I mean by that? It means we'll climb up and take a real close look at all the joints and connections and seals on your roof. and give you a written report on what's going on up there.
How often do people get up on the roof of their RV, Rick?
Not often enough, Bob. You should do this twice a year.
Would I know what to look for if I did it myself?
Maybe. Depends on how experienced you are in RV maintenance. But remember, there's no free lunch. There's a 1 out of 10 chance I'm going to sell you something. But what I want to sell you is a small repair. The kind we catch before there's a lot of water damage, rather than the kind that costs you thousands once the leak is visible from the inside. And 9 times out of 10, the assessment is really free. And it's also free to know you'll be safe and dry this camping season.
And that's no bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
McDonald's summer drink days are back, which means it's officially summer. Enjoy your refreshing small Coca-Cola or small iced coffee for just $1 all summer. Summer's booming with summer drink days. Excludes flavored iced coffee at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, buddy, I love this tune. Really getting into it. I love it. That played fairly regular in the final segment of the show. Welcome back. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, guys, I'm surprised Petrovic and Kane have been going back and forth all series. Their 3-round bout in 16 was something that may never be replicated again, Kyle, in a focus. Look, I would agree with you that I don't think it's ever going to be replicated again. Guys fighting 3 times in the same game, unreal. But I don't think that would happen. That is 9 years ago. You probably never forget it. But, different stages now. Heck, if there was one fight in the playoffs, there has been one, but there's not many. So it was that was epic, though. It was epic. Hey, Greg, don't know how true it is, but the rumor is Young Guns 3 is possibly coming with Estevez and Phillips from Doug. What? Cons, look that up. Look that up. We need to know. Is that true? That would be amazing. Amazing. Hey, guys, Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday, one of the best from Team Dean. Rest in peace. Yeah, he was unreal. I'll be our Huckleberry, right? That was a classic line from Val Kilmer. So we got a lot of texts from different parts of the city. The storm watch seems to be ended right now in the West End. So hopefully, hey, a little good rain. It's that type of year. It's gonna be hot this week, real hot. So get a little rain. It's good because the heat will definitely dry things out. And man, for all the farmers and all the gardeners, all of you maybe who are looking. Maybe laid some sod down. You get a little bit of rain, then a little heat. You're like, this is unbelievable. Let's do it.
Gregor?
Yeah.
It does look like they are making a Young Guns 3.
Come on.
Dead or Alive with Emilio Estevez set to direct it. So
he's going to star in it or direct it?
Well, he'll direct it for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, and it looks like there's a few other actors already tied into it. Lou Diamond Phillips and Christian Slater.
Ooh, but they're kind of too old now. They can't be the young guns. What is it? The old guns? What's going on? The midlife crisis guns. So,
plot kept under wraps.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Hey, Greg, I'm curious if you could get a lawyer on to discuss why that Brett Howden text can't be used as evidence. That's a really good question. I don't understand the court system, I guess, as well as others. And unless they're like, did he write it or did he not write it? Hey, this is what it looked like at the moment. And now many years later, you're going to say, oh, I can't rule. Well, of course you might not remember exactly. But yeah, I've always said this. about our system, and I'll continue to say it. When you have as many survivors of sexual abuse who never see the person who inflicted the abuse pay the price, I don't care what our system is. It's flawed. Okay, I know some innocent until proven guilty. Okay, sure. So that's your whole thing. Innocent. So you know what? Go ahead and rape someone, sexual abuse, because guess what? How many people get caught doing it? Like, it's an ugly truth, but it is the truth. Just look at the numbers. They don't lie. They do not lie. There's way too many people that get away with it. So we need to do something to curb it. Like, honestly, enough's enough. It's ridiculous. Just as ridiculous as the news today, and we'll get to sports in a second, but the fact that Alberta is now, we're going to ban books. What the hell are we doing? Just seriously, what are we doing? Lots of texts flying in. We got to get to all these about the orders. Hey, guys, I don't want to get too confident ahead of myself, but I really think this order team is better than last year, and they don't even have Ekholm. Imagine how much better they would be with him. Well, you look at, and it's a valid question. It's a valid point. But, right, like, so if Ekholm's in, where would have other guys played? Where would they be in different situations? Like, we never know. Like, it's only a what if, right? Because, would he be fully healthy? Would he be banged up? Like, the what if can't always be the perfect scenario. Well, what if this guy played and he was 100% healthy? But we don't know. So all I know, I think the orders are still a little bit more experienced than last year, right? Like, think about the players on this team who went through the heartache of last year. And it grinds you. And as I outlined earlier in the show, and I'll remind here's something, if you're a believer that history repeats itself, this is a very unique history piece that's factual, that actually relates. So in the last 45 years, and really since the NHL expanded to 21 teams in 1979-80, only 2 times have we seen back-to-back Stanley Cup finalists go head-to-head. 1983, 1984. The Oilers lost to the Islanders in 83. Then they bounced back and won in 84. So Gretzky and the Oilers lost in 83. Gretzky and the Oilers won in 84. 2008, Sidney Crosby and Pittsburgh lose to Detroit. 2009, Sidney Crosby and Pittsburgh beat Detroit. 2024, McDavid and Edmonton lose to Florida. Could 2025 be McDavid and Edmonton beat Florida? It would be a weird thing from Gretzky, Crosby, McDavid. You know what? Their first time in a cup final, they lose. The next time they win against the same team, which is Gretzky and Crosby. Who knows? It would be wild, though, to think about it. If something like that actually came about, it would be a little wild for sure. So we shall, we'll see. I'd love to see, honestly, I'd love to see Florida Edmonton again. I think it'd be a hell of a series. I think there'd be Edmonton is obviously going to be thirsty to win, but so is Florida. How many teams go back to back? Not very many, right? Pittsburgh did it in 16-17. You had Detroit in 97-98, the Penguins in 91-92. Obviously, the Oilers twice, and 87-88, 84-85. The Islanders 4 in a row, right? That's all since the league expanded. So, yeah, I'd love it. I just think it'd be a good series. I think Edmonton matches up to Florida. I think Florida matches up well against Edmonton. It'd be a hell of a series. Hey, Gregor, if they do make it, Florida, that is Reinhart going to be ready? We don't know yet, but there's rumblings out of Florida that he might not be. That'd be a huge blow for them. Huge blow. Connor Brown, Oilers fans, will not play tomorrow. Calvin Pickard will back up tomorrow. Arvidsson or Ekholm. Those are the options to come in for Connor Brown. Now, I still think it's going to be Arvidsson because I don't know if Matthias Ekholm is 100% being cleared yet to play. So we'll see. But we'll find out tomorrow, likely at the morning skate, to see who is going to be ready. I'm going to go with Arvidsson, but we'll see. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, all of our guests, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a lovely Monday evening. Enjoy Memorial Cup. Enjoy Minnesota. Maybe you're going to watch the Panthers and the Hurricanes. Whatever you're doing, enjoy it. Maybe check out Mobland if you haven't seen it yet. Unreal show. Let's get to the Conman Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month is on now at GMC. Get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD model. See more at gmccanada.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game number 4, Panthers and Hurricanes down in Sunrise, Florida. Puck drop in about 10 minutes time. Canes trailing this series 3-0. Sam Reinhart, A.J. Greer, and defenseman Nico Miklo will not play for the Panthers in this game. All 3 players considered day-to-day. It's also game 4 in the association's Western Conference Finals. Timberwolves Thunder at 6:30. OKC leads that series 2-1 in the majors. Earlier this afternoon, the Jays victorious over the Rangers, winning 2-1. You also had the Mets over the White Sox by that same score. Royals fall to the Reds 7-4. Cubbies got past the Rockies 3-1, and the Red Sox losing to the Brewers 3-2. Right now, Dodgers have a 5-1 lead over the Guardians in the 6th, and in the 4th, Twins and Rays currently scoreless at the Memorial Cup. Right now, Medicine Hat Tigers up on Moncton 1-0 after 20 minutes, and in the PWHL, they're going to overtime. Game 4 of their series tied at 1 apiece. Minnesota can win the series with a victory. And from the CFL, the Edmonton Elks bringing back longtime equipment manager Dwayne Mondrusiak for a 50th season with the team as he'll rejoin the club in what they've termed a joint community and historian role. The team also signed 6'9" American offensive lineman Greg Phelan and American linebacker Brock Mogensen. In addition, the team releasing defensive backs Steve Stevens and Chris Jackson. And from the WNBA, Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for a minimum of 2 weeks due to a left quad strain. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next is Fox Sports Radio. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station.